Damn it, Kim, why'd you have to get everyone sick?
It's not my fault. How rude.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Threading and Dreading. Right now, there's only two of us in the room because, sadly, it appears everyone and their mother is sick. That includes most of the people on this podcast. So, I'm actually just getting over being sick. Kim herself is still fairly sick, but
I'm on the mend.
You're on the mend, though, yeah. And you may hear a little bit of, scratch in my voice. That's because I'm coughing and hacking still. But, yeah, we're getting over it, but we're still going to get out a list of these trailers, a little bit of movie news, and some bullshit. But to my left, we have...
Goddess of Gore.
And how are you doing?
We just covered this.
Nah, I know. But
I'm just the same as I was 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's not really the flu that we have.
No, it's just a head cold.
Yeah, but it's a pretty nasty one, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because we've had this since what, like a couple of days after Christmas?
No, it was right before New Year's.
Well, I thought it was
that's about the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And you may hear one more voice on this end. Because it is a light crew tonight, we called up the Backups, who is a very reliable standby. He was a very good friend of mine. You may know him from the Darkness podcast, from Not Worth a Kick in the Ass. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Chicago John.
Yay.
Weaklings, you guys. Like, coughing and dying and all this other stuff.
Hey.
Having your Canadian orgies and getting sick.
We're not Canadian.
Oh my goodness.
Delaware is not in Canada.
It might as well be. I tried to Google mapping and I got lost. I'm like, okay, I'm not driving out there to you guys.
The saddest thing, though, is if you travel to other states and you tell people you're from Delaware, half of the time they will just give you, a blank expression.
Just like, okay.
Yeah, all right. And then they'll try and change the topic real quick.
Pretty much.
I'm like, what the hell is a Delaware?
Well, one time we were in of all places, Virginia Beach, which is only like, a couple hundred miles away from Delaware.
Right.
And I forget where we were in some restaurant. We say to the girl, oh, yeah, we're driving back to Delaware. And she goes, oh. And just from the look on her face, we could tell she didn't know what it was. Like, do you know what Delaware is? She's like, oh, yeah, it's a city in England, right?
What?
And that's the thing about Delaware. There's always a Delaware somewhere. There's a Delaware in Ohio. That's a big city.
Right.
There's a Delaware in like almost every other state. So nobody really knows what Delaware. There's nothing that gives Delaware any character.
I remember, of all people, Mr. Cargill calling me out on it once, where I was complaining about how we wouldn't get any, Oscar-worthy films around here just because all of our theaters only get mainstream films. And he's like, because you live in fucking Delaware. I was like, damn,
What is Delaware known for?
Being the first state, and that's about it.
Tax-free shopping.
Yeah, that too. Tax-free shopping.
Tax-free shopping?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're known for that, and for a few beaches, and for
Doesn't Las Vegas have tax-free shopping?
a couple, like 2 or 3 other states do. I think Oregon does.
Some other places.
Oregon might. Nevada might. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's like 3 or 4 other states, but we're the only one on the East Coast. Yeah.
I mean, you guys not special then. Again, what is special about Delaware?
Hey.
What's your foosball team in Delaware?
We don't have one. we have the university that I attended. We have their football team, but that's about it. Which is one of the stranger mascots you'll ever know, which is the Blue Hens.
He
has no response for that one.
How do you become so creative and everything, living in such a place as Delaware?
Well, how was your Christmas, John?
Oh my goodness, my Christmas was well. Enjoyed it with my family. Just sat around. Wanted to play my PlayStation online, but
Oh yeah, hackers. Did you hear about that, Kim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole network was.
Yeah, I didn't play that day, but Kim actually got a few games on Christmas. But I mean, I don't think any of them were multiplayer, so it didn't really matter. But
Right.
But yeah, I wasn't playing either. But yeah, freaking hackers.
I mean, the thing is, Sony have been hacked so many times. You think they will beef up their security,
Right.
but they don't. They don't give a shit.
Right.
They even said they came out this week on CES and said like, "Oh, that hacking didn't really hurt our financial budget." No, but they're gonna go ahead and put everybody else's information out there who's not a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And one day I got hacked on my account, and somebody was using my account. They hacked me, and I called Sony. I said, "Hey, I got hacked. So, what can I do, to prevent that from happening, or can you help me change my stuff?" And the guy said, "Oh, thank you for letting me know. If that happens again, we'll make sure we terminate your account." I was like, I'm not lying. They said that if I get hacked one more time, they would terminate my account, and all the things that I have purchased with my account I can't get them back. Even if I have purchased them on my account, I'll have to rebuy them all over again.
Could you imagine your bank doing that? It's like, oh, we're sorry your identity was stolen, but we're going to freeze all your assets so it doesn't happen again. Like,
you can earn it back again. It only took you, like years.
Wow, real good philosophy there, Sony.
That's awful.
Jeez.
It is awful. So when the whole hacking incident happened, I was like, oh shit, there goes my Grand Theft Auto 5 game that I purchased.
Man, oh man. But did you bring in the new year well?
Yes, had a great new year, had a nice hotel party with some friends. Drank a little bit too much and then had to go back to work. Just like everybody else. So what about you guys?
Well, we spent it at our buddy's house, Steve, and we had a great time, and I think everyone who was at that party is now sick, which is like it was just spread amongst that party.
And Steve was the gentleman that was on the podcast a week ago, or the last episode, right?
No. Oh no, not Paul Steve. No. This was our buddy Super Sexy Steve, who's on. If you ever watch if you ever listen to our Cards Against Humanity playthroughs, he's on there. But no, this wasn't Paul Steve.
No, the guy who was on last time was Danny.
Oh yeah, are you thinking about Danny?
Danny, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Danny's a cool guy, but Danny's also getting over being sick, and now his wife is now severely sick, probably with what he had. So he's like, oh, I really just can't make it because now she's sick, and I'm sick, everybody's sick. It's just like...
Oh, my Jesus Christ. Where... Do you Delaware people believe in, like, the shots? Are you one of those birther people?
Oh, God.
They just don't believe in, like, technology and vaccination and stuff like that?
No, but we're constantly having massive orgies and just spreading our diseases around. That's what's really happening.
That's news to me.
See, stay away from Paul. After he saw the Legend of Korra, he think everybody can have an orgy. It's a gay orgy for everybody.
Oh God. Well, did you have any movie news or anything you wanted to bring up, John? I mean, is there anything that's really been interesting you as of late, as far as cinema, television, anything?
The Flash returns. I heard the podcast and I was screaming at the podcast when I listened to you last time when you told Paul that like I didn't enjoy the Flash, and that's further from the truth.
No.
My stupid ass colleagues.
It's your coworkers who don't like it, right?
They are retarded bamboos. And, they can enjoy great superheroes.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten into it, but I've been hearing that since the first couple episodes, it's gotten much better.
It's awesome. It's a pretty good show. I mean,
good.
At first, I would kind of put off a little bit just because they kept throwing the love scene. But then when I realized that the love girl is actually canon and stuff like that, I said, all right. It's a little bit too much CW love.
Right. That's what you have to remember. It's CW, right.
Yeah. Once they get past that CW love, it's a good show.
Okay, good. I'm trying to find time to get into that, because I've heard Arrow is actually quite good as well. But
one step at a time.
Right.
One step at a time.
But meanwhile, on the other side, Gotham is garbage.
Gotham is so terrible that it's good. Like it's a bad B movie, an ongoing B movie.
That's great.
I don't know if you saw the last episode that came out.
No, I have not.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't know. Just to catch you up, just to give you a real quick synopsis. So Barbara Gordon decides to leave Jim Gordon, and she goes back with her old mistress, who's she used to be a lesbian, so there was some lesbian core shit in there too.
Okay.
And she was lesbianing up, and then all of a sudden she decided to want to call Jim. She called Jim because she the one who broke up with Jim. She calls him. A little girl named Poison Ivy was in his house because they snuck in. And they try to act like a grown woman to say, "Oh, Jim is busy right now. We're having fun."
Oh my
What?
God.
How she got tricked by a 9-year-old little girl pretending to be a grown woman on the phone. She then throws the phone and just starts crying like, "Oh my God, Jim, why? Why?"
Wow.
I'm like, didn't you just sleep with your ex and
Yeah, like,
you
didn't
got tricked by
you
a
just
9-year-old?
leave him for someone else,
Yeah.
and now you're upset because he apparently did the same thing? Wow. Okay.
But that's all the news I got about that kind of stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Well, there isn't a whole lot of movie news right now that isn't really related to our trailers, and we're going to get to that a little bit later, but there is one little bit of news I did want to touch on that was released late in December, which is a policy that AMC Theaters is actually bringing up. I don't know if you'd heard about this, John, but AMC Theaters is planning to test a monthly base subscription fee for movies. So what you can basically do, and it's going to be tested in Denver and in Boston, what you're going to be able to do is pay $40 a month, which would be for 3D films. If you just want to go to 2D, it'd be $30 a month, and you can see one movie a day for the entire month. So you basically don't have to pay ticket prices anymore. I get what they're going for with this. You know, it's an interesting policy basically for people who are cinephiles who just see movies all the time. I
Right.
guess this makes sense. But what AMC doesn't realize is this already exists in a program called MoviePass, where I believe it's now like 95% of different theaters, and this isn't just AMC, it's Regal, Cinemark, Carmike, whatever it may be. You can just pay this fee, they'll send you a card, which is kind of like a credit card, and once a day you can swipe it at any theater and see whatever movie you want. And it's a monthly fee. Yeah, it's the exact same thing, except AMC is only making it localized to their theaters. I'm confused what AMC's trying to do here. It's like, oh, well, we want to get in on this, but this thing already exists,
Well, thank God for AMC, because I heard about the whole Facebook campaign that they were trying to do it in Boston, so I knew about that.
Right.
But I did not know about MoviePass. So you maybe this is great because AMC is helping highlight things like MoviePass
Right.
around.
Right.
I didn't know. I'm on the website right now about to register.
So you looked up MoviePass?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like a good program, doesn't it?
Oh my God, $30 a month, $30.
And you get to see a movie a day. Yeah.
I pay like $50 by myself when I go to the
Right. Yeah.
I mean, now again, that's just for the 2D movies, right?
Yeah.
Right. But see, I don't go in for 3D too often, so that really doesn't matter to me.
30, and then they have it in an asterisk saying maybe 35 in certain areas. I don't give a fuck.
Still,
I go
yeah.
to the
That's,
movie like at least 5 times a month,
Right.
At least, I mean, especially when the summer comes.
oh
Right.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, right now we're in Craptober or January and February.
Right. The dumping grounds of the season, right?
Yeah. So wait to sign up until like
March.
Yeah,
wait till March when they get like the spring break movies releasing. Those
Yeah.
usually there's some good ones in there usually.
$30. Oh my goodness. Did MoviePass pay you to do this promotion? 'Cause
No, I am not being endorsed by MoviePass.
I think you just did a perfect spot-on commercial just now. Let's go ahead and do MoviePass. Well, I'm actually really happy that they do want to do some kind of subscription for people, and it's good for people who are movie cinephiles like ourselves,
Right.
because we care about going to the movies.
Right.
If you talk to the average Joe, that you say, "Hey, when's the last time you've been to the movies?" 6 months ago.
Right. Right.
I like watching movies in the theater. Like I hate watching movies at the house.
Right. I mean, because movies are a social experience. They are. You like to go in there and watch them with people. Now, every so often, if it's, a claustrophobic film or if it's something, like that I just want to watch, just a couple friends, there's nothing wrong with watching it at home. But more often than not, yes, it's a social experience. You want to watch it with a bunch of other people.
Not just that, it's the whole, the screen, it's a lot bigger, the sound is bigger, everything.
Right.
is more dramatic.
But the funny thing, you said it's a social experience. I'm an extrovert type person.
Okay.
When it comes to the movie theater, I'm definitely an introvert. Like I don't want to sit near people.
Right.
I don't want people around. I don't even want to make eye contact with people. I'm that guy who sit in the middle of the theater, and then if you and your girlfriend sit next to the side of me, and you see all this fucking space around, I'm gonna look at you. You know?
Yeah.
Unless the movie is full, then I'm fine with that.
Right.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I can give you two different examples. I mean, the first one we can give was like when Kim and I went and saw The Conjuring, which was an awful experience, and I would say, anyone watching or anyone listening to this, never go to a horror movie opening weekend. Ever. Because horror movie experiences now, I love horror films, but opening weekend, no one is watching the horror film. No one's watching. Everyone's on their phone or chatting or making out. No one is actually watching the fucking movie. So just wait a week to see your horror film. But something else, like to give a good experience, is when we saw 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
That was an amazing experience where everyone had a great time in the theater. Everyone was paying attention to the movie, and that was, I think, opening weekend.
Yeah.
That was great. So,
That was fun.
I like going to movies and being able to enjoy it with a bunch of other people, but it just depends on the movie.
So what about you, Goddess of War? I mean, like, since you love the gore,
Yes.
horror films, do you want to be in the theater with a lot of people, or do you just want to be do you want to be in the theater with people that get scared, or do you want to be in there with like teenagers? Like, what's your...
Oh God. Definitely not teenagers, because they usually talk to each other like during the whole scary parts and ruin everything.
Right.
I'd rather just be like me and like maybe two other people in the theater.
So you going in the early time? You and Mike going with the old people?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
She goes in for the senior Mondays when there's no one else there, and it's everyone just came from Old Country Buffet and they just had a nice big meal, and they walk in at noon. Oh, well, we're going to see Annabelle.
Mike, she's sick because she want to go there and like she want to just see old people die of a heart attack, being scared so bad. She's like, yes, the movie that killed.
How did you know that's what I secretly wanted to do?
I knew you freak. Oh, Mike, kiss me now. Call my Medicaid.
Good God. Well, before we get into the trailers, there is one thing I wanted to touch on. Now, since it is 2015, I did want to do just a little brief summary of the best and the worst performers of 2014. Because we didn't see all the movies that did well at the box office or flopped at the box office, but I did want to just run down and say 2014 was a very odd year for movies. I mean, there were some really, really big ones, some really good ones, but people don't realize that 2014 was actually a really bad year for cinema. Not as far as like critiques, but as far as numbers. I think there was like a 9% drop off on ticket sales for 2014. And that's really shocking. I mean, you can chalk that up to video on demand, to hacks, to people not really caring about movies anymore. I mean, you can chalk it up to a lot of things, but there was a 9% drop, and they hadn't seen numbers like that since 1993. It's very, very odd what 2014 meant for cinema, with things like The Interview happening and, streaming becoming much more available at home. It seems like more and more people are saying, screw the theater experience. I'd rather just watch it at home. So what I wanted to do was just run through the biggest performers of the year, some surprises for the year, and then some of the biggest flops of the year. So, well, let me ask you this, John. What did you think was the biggest performer of 2014? Worldwide, what made the most money?
Worldwide?
Worldwide, not domestically, worldwide.
I guess the Transformers film.
That would be correct. Yep. Sadly, that was the biggest winner from 2014, which...
Thank you, China.
Yeah, thank you, China. And that's the thing. It came in third or fourth place domestically, and overseas, it made bank money. And you can really thank China for that. Yeah. But Transformers 4 Age of Extinction made $0.08 billion.
Oh, my God.
Right. And that was off of a $210 million budget. Wow. And now, we don't know how much of that budget was funded from China. We know that a good portion was overseas funding, which is why a third of that movie was filmed in Hong Kong.
Are you saying a cheaply bad product that was made in China actually made a lot of money?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Shocking.
Yeah.
But after that, the number 2 performer is something I think we all saw and we really enjoyed, which was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Now, that came in at $774.6 million and had a budget of $170 million. So, of all the ones on the list I'm about to read off, I would say that is not only the biggest, gain from the past year, but it's probably the best movie as far as all the mainstream ones from the past year. I mean, you could, claim Winter Soldier or X-Men Days of Futures Past or, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but of all those, I had the most fun in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a refreshing surprise.
Exactly. Refreshing is a very good word for it. Yeah, refreshing. Third place worldwide was actually Maleficent. I did not know that.
Really?
Yeah. Domestically, it did okay, but worldwide, it did really well. It made $757.7 million worldwide.
Wow.
Off of a $180 million budget. Fourth place was X-Men Days of Futures Past, coming in at $748.1 million. Number 5, which is still actually bringing in money, so this may go up, is The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies.
Oh, okay.
It's already...
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, it's already made $726.5 million. Now, the budget for that is unknown because all 3 movies were shot at the same time. So all 3 filmed together were probably a huge budget.
Right.
But they're saying this one probably had a estimated budget of about $180 million.
Okay.
So it's still a really good performer. Number 6 was Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which came in at $714 million. Number 7 was actually The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which came in at $708 million. Number 8 was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which was just behind that by just $100,000. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes had $708.8 million. And then number 9 was Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1, which is still bringing in a little bit of money because it's still in some theaters. That has $696.5 million. And finally, number 10 would be Interstellar, which had $660.6 million. That's off a $165 million budget. So those were the top 10, and the thing you want to take away from this list is there was only one original property in that top 10, which was Interstellar. Everything else was either part of a franchise or a sequel or a reboot or remake.
Yeah.
Think about that. Everything in the top 10 except for one was based off of something else or a sequel. That's almost a sad statement, It's like, I mean, I remember when original properties, ruled the top 10, but it was like, wow, it's like just, it's almost like it's being saturated by just sequels and franchise movies. It's very, very strange.
Well, these big corporations, they just want a sure buck, and they gotta get a sure buck.
And that's the truth. The biggest ones are the surest buck, but we're gonna get into
even Interstellar struggled. I mean, it was made by Christopher Nolan,
right,
and that struggled. It didn't do well, but at least it was something different and new.
Right. And I heard mixed things about Interstellar. I sadly didn't get a chance to see it. I heard it was a beautiful film. I heard the cinematography was fantastic, but it was almost like Nolan just bit off way more than he could chew.
Oh, he did. And then it was beautiful, and then it was loud, and then it was just confusing. Oh my God, you guys! I can't wait for y'all to see them.
We'll check it out when we get a chance. Now, before we move on with the list, I just wanted to write off a couple of surprises from 2014 because there were some movies that weren't expecting to make a lot, but all of a sudden just came out of nowhere. The first one being the Lego Movie, which surprised a lot of people, which only had a $60 million budget, made nearly $470 million in the box office worldwide.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is better when you're part of a team. But I was happy that did well. That was a different change. I remember a lot of people going in, initially saying, "Oh, it's just going to be another, like Hasbro film where they're just banking off a toy." Like, no, they did a lot of good writing with the Lego Movie. So I'm happy that did well.
And those guys who made it, they did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball, that was great.
Right.
21 Jump Street, that was great.
Right.
Even 21 Jump Street 2, which was still good.
Yeah.
They also call that 22 Jump Street, John.
22.
But I like that. Now again, they're already writing a sequel for it, and they are planning a spin-off movie with their version of Batman. So it's going to be a Lego Batman movie, which I would actually love to see. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So long as it's written well. If they get the same writers back, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
But we'll see what they do with that. Another big surprise was actually, of all things, Annabelle.
Really?
Annabelle got some pretty mediocre to bad reviews. It had a $6.5 million budget, but worldwide made $252 million.
Wow.
Think about how much money that made over its budget.
Yeah.
That is insane.
You guys are crazy. You horror fans put on an island full of heart attack old people dying. God, you guys are terrible. You're going to see this.
We actually didn't see Annabelle.
No.
You did. You probably went by.
No, honestly.
Hold on, honey, let me go drop $20 here. And then drove off.
That was one of the few horror films this year we didn't see, actually. But yeah, Annabelle did amazing worldwide, considering its budget. Another shocking one, I guess not so much shocking, just so much it made over its budget, was The Fault in Our Stars. Now, people knew it was going to be kind of big just because it was based off a very popular book, but no one expected this. It was shot for $12 million and made $304 million worldwide.
Wow.
That's amazing considering its budget. And I mean, you can critique the film all you want, but holy crap. Studios are going to start really, really reeling in the young adult crowd. When you can spend $12 million on a movie and make that much back on it, people are going to dive headfirst into young adult. So,
well, that doesn't sound good.
The female demographic from the ages of 16 to 35, a lot of them went to go see it.
I mean,
people. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I've spoken to a few people who have read the book and have actually enjoyed the book, but apparently the movie is just like bad cliche after bad cliche of just, saying, oh, everything is more prettier and beautiful and sexy when you have cancer, which is apparently a very, very odd message.
Or have a cancer guy die inside of you after y'all have sex.
What?
I didn't see the movie. Does that happen?
That's all that movie was. Just a snuff film.
All I know is that, from what I've been told, there's actually a scene in the movie where they're in the Anne Frank house and the couple makes out.
Oh, I saw that.
It's like, okay, because that's what you want to do in the Anne Frank house. Make out. Yeah. Real nice movie.
It made me think of Justin Bieber. Because he went to the Anne Frank
right,
house.
he did. What did he do? What did he say after visiting it or something?
He said, if you was alive, I bet you would be a believer.
Right, a believer.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
Oh, my God.
That's the best thing he could come up with to say after visiting?
I'm pretty sure listening to your shitty music is the last thing she worried about with Germans trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only other one I want to bring up on this list is a movie that didn't make much, but considering its budget, I did want to mention it, and it's a movie called God's Not Dead. Did you know about this movie, John?
Yeah.
Yep. Did you hear about this, Kim?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it was.
God's Not Dead, it was a very strange set of circumstances that made this movie get this much money. Now, the movie only had a $2 million budget. Well, and you can tell by just looking at the film. It was shot for dirt cheap.
Had a great marketing campaign.
Right.
Oh,
It had a lot of overbearing Christian messages. And it's about a professor at the start of some sort of philosophy course saying that...
Was Kirk Cameron involved with
No,
this?
Kirk Cameron was not involved with this. That was Saving Christmas.
Right.
Which is not going to be on this list. We will not talk about that.
Christians wised up on that one.
But in this, you have a professor. I forget the actor's name who played Hercules back in the day.
Kevin Sorbo?
Kevin Sorbo, you're right. He's the professor, and he tells his students that they have to sign a waiver at the start of the class saying they renounce God and that he does not exist. Which, number one, any professor who does this is going to get fired right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because no professor would ever fucking do this.
Right.
But then the student comes out and says, no, I'm not going to sign this, and I'm going to prove to you that God exists. So this whole debate goes on between this kid and Kevin Sorbo about whether or not God exists.
Was he even like a philosophy professor?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the movie goes. I think it also had Dean Cain, a few other people, but
Okay.
it pulls in really weird cameos from like people from Duck Dynasty.
Oh,
and
goodness.
just like and of course the people from Duck Dynasty are being attacked by like really angry liberals who are just obviously trying to paint them really badly, and of course liberals are Satan incarnate.
Of course.
But the movie was panned online, not just because of its messages, which people can attack it just for its messages, but the movie was shot poorly. Like, there are scenes that are out of focus.
Oh, gosh.
Like, the editor didn't know what he was doing. So apparently it's just a terrible movie in and out. But, of course, because it was panned, the Christian community rallied around it, and everyone went to see it, despite it being a terrible movie.
Okay.
So despite a $2 million budget, it made $62.6 million.
Oh, my gosh.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So, congrats. You took a really shitty film and made it make $62 million. Well done.
Yeah, one of the worst parts of the movie was, not only that everybody who's just logical thinking people were just deemed evil, then they have the nerve to have a scene where he's like, oh yeah, you know what, your God's not real, and he runs out the building, gets hit by a car and dies, and then the kid comes prays for him. He's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to heaven now.
Whoa. Is that really what happens?
Wow.
Yeah, the atheist professor gets hit by a car and then he converts to Jesus.
Oh my God.
It would have been better if he would have just stick to his morals and then the devil would have came up and grabbed him.
Yes.
Wow.
That would have been awesome if like the earth opened up and just said, nope, this one's mine.
Choke on it.
What you need those shadow demons from Ghost to pop up and drag him away.
I'm still not believing you're God.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, the last thing we're going to touch on before the trailers is the worst performers of 2014. These were the biggest flops of 2014.
Okay.
Number 10 being Expendables 3, which had a budget of $190 million and only made $200 million. So it only made $10 million more than its budget. Now that's it made back its money, but that's all you can say.
Right.
And a lot of times the budget doesn't take into account marketing. So it may in fact have lost money, but we really don't know. Also, as far as these budgets, I do have to say, a lot of times when it's a movie that lost money, the studio will not release how much the movie cost to try, avoid being embarrassed. People are estimating that Expendables 3 was shot for $190 million, but no one really knows. It could have been shot for more. As it was, it made about $10 million. That's about all it made. Number 9 was Transcendence.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. That was shot for $100 million and made $103 million. So $3 million. Good job, guys. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that one. Johnny Depp and Paul Bettany and...
Oh, right.
Right,
he goes into the computers and
That's
stuff.
right.
Okay,
right.
yes, I do remember that now.
Right. And apparently audiences just did not care.
Yeah.
Just like another Johnny Depp movie that's coming out.
Right. We'll talk about that in a little bit, John. Don't you transition on me.
Oh, no.
Number 8 was I, Frankenstein.
Oh, thank God that movie looked terrible.
Right. Now that had a $65 million budget and made $71 million. So it made $6 million, but apparently that movie was god awful. I don't think it's just panned up and down by critics.
Yeah.
Number 7 was The Legend of Hercules. Now, this was not The Rock's Hercules. This was the one that came out 3 or 4 months beforehand.
Oh, okay.
That was an entirely different story, and hardly anyone saw it. This one had
Got Twilight too.
Right. This one had a $70 million budget and only made $61 million. So that one was actually the first big loss of the year. It actually lost $9 million.
Yeah.
Number 6 was Tyler Perry's The Single Moms Club.
Oh my gosh.
That had a $20 million budget, but again, that's estimated. No one knows. And it made $16 million at the box office. So it was shot for cheap, but it didn't make anything.
That's right.
So what are you going to do? Number 5 was Winter's Tale.
What was that?
That was, oh gosh, I'm spacing. Bullseye from Daredevil.
Oh,
Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell. I was like, why is that the only thing I can think of him in right now? Yeah, Colin Farrell, and it had to deal with him.
Oh, that's right. I know
Yeah.
which movie.
It was him dying and then going into the future to save some woman in the future.
Time
Right.
traveling
Yeah.
Colin Farrell. Yes.
Right. That had a $60 million budget and made $30 million. So it made half its budget. I would consider that tanking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4 was Vampire Academy.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I remember
Which
that.
was trying to bank off the Twilight young adult crowd, and that one is an example of how not to do it.
Did that even come to theater?
Oh yeah, it was released. It had a.
Cause I saw the trailer this past week watching Chef, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely direct to DVD. This couldn't have gone to theater.
It did. It got a pretty wide release. It had a $30 million budget and made $15 million. So again, right about half its budget.
The marketing, I thought it was a parody because it was like, this time high school really sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how terrible is that marketing? Oh man.
You're right. It did seem like one of those like
Parody
scary
movie.
movie, yeah,
Right.
epic movie kind of deals.
So maybe that's what people thought, and that's why they didn't go to it. Number 3.
Maybe they just had better common sense.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Number 3 was Sabotage. Now, do you remember this movie? Schwarzenegger and
What, he's in the jail?
no. That wasn't what. This was him leading a team of like SWAT members.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of them get kidnapped, and he has to rescue them.
Yeah.
That was shot for $35 million, and it only made $17 million at the box office. Number 2 was Sin City: A Dame to Kill For.
Oh yeah.
Now
I think
again,
that's the biggest failure because nobody. It wasn't even in the top 10 when it came out.
Right.
Or at least the top 5.
no one cared. Now here's the thing. According to people who have seen it, it's actually not that bad of a movie. Like, if you liked the original, you'll probably like this.
Yeah.
But the problem was, it came out at a really bad time, not just in the year, but as far as why people would care about it.
And the thing is, I said the same thing the other day. I was saying, it was what 10, 13 years since the last one.
It was 9, I think. 9.
9. But then Dumb and Dumber 2 comes out a month or 2 later and becomes number 1.
Right.
At least it made more, I don't know how much Dumb and Dumber 2 made, but Dumb and Dumber was like 20 years in the making. I mean, before it got made. You got Sin City that's still kind of relevant.
I don't think it came out, so soon enough that people were, excited about the one before, but not long enough that it was banking off the nostalgia. It was right in the middle ground where people just didn't care about it. So it, for what it was, apparently it was a decent film, but it was just, a massive flop. It had a $65 million budget and only made $39 million at the box office. So that movie did lose quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the number 1 is something you may have seen trailers for, but probably wasn't released at a theater near you, which was The Legend of Oz: Dorothy Returns.
Was that animated?
It was an animated film.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
My nieces wanted to see it.
Do you remember that one, John?
The what?
Exactly. It was called The Legend of Oz: Dorothy's Return.
That's like some kind of nostalgia critic video that he
You know what? No, I would expect him to review this because apparently the movie was really bad, and apparently it was just a massive tax write-off. Now, this can't be confirmed or denied, but...
You mean like a food fight?
Like Food Fight, yes, exactly. The movie was shot for apparently $70 million.
Uh-huh.
And it made $18 million. Yeah. This was easily the biggest flop of 2014.
Goodness.
And I believe it was kind of crowdfunded. It had a lot of private investors who all sank like $10,000 into the movie. And it was mainly funded by an Indian firm, an Indian animation company, and it apparently even had like some decent voice actors in there. I can't recall any of them off the top of my head, but the movie just didn't pique anyone's interest. It just looked very generic. The animation wasn't anything to flip out about. It was just kind of meh, and no one cared. It was marketed terribly, and off of a $70 million budget, it made $18 million. Now, I say $70 million because no one knows. Higher estimates have it at $100 million and only made $18 million. That is shocking.
Yeah.
So...
Is it one of those things where, they say it cost that much, but really most of that money just went into the pockets of the people who made it?
No, that's right. That's absolutely right. The studio that released this isn't really talking about it. And all of the investors are trying to get their money back, and they can't. So this was one of the, weird circumstances of 2014, this movie. I don't know if there's any plans to release it on DVD. I don't know if you're going to get a chance to see it because no one wants to see it. But two, the studio is basically just saying, fuck it, we don't want to do anything with this anymore.
Okay, is this the way how mafia guys,
how they operate?
Is this the way they do the laundry?
Yeah, the new type of money laundering.
I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. You're going to make Cars 3.
I mean, if you got to launder money like that, I guess this is the best way to just give money to some kids and have them make a shitty movie.
Yeah.
We'll give you Incredibles 2, but you have to shoot Cars 3.
That is not a very good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, not a good Marlon Brando.
No.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know what you did.
Yeah.
Like you doing your father or something?
Well, I didn't want to go with the wise guy. I didn't want to go with that. I want to try and be a little more better than that. Sorry.
Well, you need to work on it.
I know. I need to work on it. Well, anyway, let's get into our trailers. And the first one up is...
Oh, God.
First one up is Mordecai.
I am Lord Charlie Mordecai. Respected by all who know me slightly.
Excellent shot, sir!
Man down! I am an art dealer and aficionado. My wife, Joanna, my only true love.
I thought I'd see how you secret agent men run the world.
I'm afraid I shall have to put my foot down, darling.
Sorry.
With your permission, of course.
It's not unusual
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. Almost like it was transition.
You might be a little shocked with what I'm going to say about this movie.
Oh my God.
Now, look, when I first saw the TV spots, because I saw the TV spots before the trailer,
Right.
it looked like garbage.
Yeah.
It looked like absolute garbage. And I'm like, Johnny Depp, what the fuck are you doing? Having seen the trailer and a couple of the other teasers, it looks like it has a couple of pretty funny moments.
Really?
And
Like what?
I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to see it, but it had me laughing in a couple parts. And I feel kind of guilty about that because I'm feeling the movie's going to be a piece of shit.
Were you laughing at it, or it was a part you were supposed to laugh?
It was the part I was supposed to laugh at.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I wasn't
What do
laughing
you
at
do
it
to
like it
him,
was
Kim?
bad.
Like, you got like huffing paint?
Who, me?
No, I'm not huffing paint.
Oh.
John.
I mean, I know Delaware just doesn't have anything there, but Jesus. Change your mind on this movie.
Look, Kim hasn't given me Quaaludes in a long time, all right? I'm off that.
You're gonna go with Quaaludes?
Yes,
really?
Quaaludes.
Who is she? A time traveler? Don't worry, baby. I'll go back to 1998 or 92.
No, that's a
don't
late.
even
No, that's a
know.
late '80s drug. Are you kidding me?
Okay, I don't know. I see. I'm not even that old, and I'm old.
Sorry. Anyway, so let's discuss Mordecai.
Oh, okay.
So the director of this is going to be David Coep, who has directed movies like Ghost Town and Premium Rush and Secret Window, which again had Johnny Depp. I think I was one of the few people who actually liked Secret Window. I know it actually got some pretty negative press, but I didn't hate it. I actually had a decent time with it. Now, this guy, David Coep, has actually written a lot. He's written screenplays for Jurassic Park, Toy Soldiers, Mission Impossible, Panic Room, Angels and Demons, and Men in Black 3. He's actually had a very good writing career, so this isn't a bad writer, you know? I mean, his
Okay.
films where he's directed haven't been exactly that great, but he's a good writer, so I'm hoping he can do something here. Also, of course, in this we have Johnny Depp, we have Gwyneth Paltrow, we have Ewan McGregor and Paul Bettany. This is actually the second time that Depp has worked with Bettany. The first time was Transcendence. We also have Olivia Munn and Audrey Plaza in this.
Oh.
So I know Paul would want to see
Yeah,
this just for
just
Audrey
for Audrey
Plaza because
Plaza.
he obsesses about her. But what to say about this? It's about a man who's apparently working for MI6 or some sort of British intelligence who is bankrupt and wants to steal what is, going to be auctioned off for, terrorists.
Well, from what I got, he arranged for this painting to be stolen so that the security company or whatever would come and hire him. He doesn't specifically work for them.
Oh.
So that he would get money off of it.
Okay. Well, I know he wanted to make money off of it.
Right.
I just didn't know it was in that way.
I just thought it was a bad version of what's that? The Pink Panther. I'm like, this is a terrible version of the Pink Panther.
No. A bad version of the Pink Panther was the Pink Panther. All right.
Yeah, I think this is Johnny Depp. I mean, his career isn't dead yet. The only saving grace is that girl. Who is that lady again?
Which one, Olivia Munn or Audrey Plaza?
The blonde lady that he keep kissing and
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, like she's pretty hot. She kind of I kind of wanted to see her and the chick from Game of Thrones kiss each other. The blonde security guard.
What?
What?
I mean, she wasn't a security guard, but you know what I mean. She was like a blonde knight.
Brienne?
Rianne?
No, Brie.
Oh, but Brienne, yeah.
Her?
Why her? Of
I
all
don't
the
know,
women
man,
on that
her and
show,
other
why
girl, they kind of look
Brienne?
they got a similar look.
What? Brienne looks nothing like Gwyneth Paltrow.
I'm lost.
To each their own, then. I start fantasizing about Game of Thrones.
No, you go ahead and fantasize about Game of Thrones. That's fine. I just don't know why you'd pick Brienne of all of them.
You can write your fan fiction about this. We won't judge you.
Okay. She fell back in time in a portrait that took her back to the Game of Thrones.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Sure.
Anyway, so I had a theory that since it's Gwyneth Paltrow and Paul Bettany, that Pepper Potts and Jarvis had just left the universe and went and did something British.
They did something British.
Oh, that's who she was. Oh, she Pepper Potts.
You just realized, she's Pepper Potts, and Paul Bettany is Jarvis.
Huh.
Yeah, so they decided to go and work with this British guy for some random reason. Who knows why?
And just be British.
Just be British, yeah.
That we're talking about is more interesting than this movie. It's poor Pepper Potts. Stick to Iron Man.
Right.
Wait, is this? She tried to leave Iron Man. You telling me that she tried to leave Iron Man for this?
Apparently.
What's her problem? I mean, I know a woman, she needs to, make her own, and she want to do some good films, but she making this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't agree with this choice, right?
These superheroes. I'm gonna go and fake kiss Johnny Depp in a bad shitty Johnny Depp movie. Yeah, that's my true calling.
Now, a couple things about this. First, I want to say it was actually just released today that this movie has gotten its rating from the MPAA and was actually given a rated R.
okay.
I mean, initially they looked like they were pulling for a PG-13. This has gotten a rated R, which makes me think that either the directors or the writers had some real sticking points on some parts that they didn't want to cut, whether it was language or violence or something.
Probably nudity.
Nudity, really? You think so?
Yeah.
The trailer, if you looked in the trailer, he walked by some like scantily clad women and they made a porno joke.
Oh, right. That when he was in Miami.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a pretty bad joke. I'll admit that. I don't know if it'd be for nudity. Apparently, there's a bit of violence with Paul Bettany. You see him beating the shit out of some guys at some point.
Oh, was that the guy who was like his security guard?
Right.
Thing? Yeah, that was
his
weird.
manservant or something.
That was
yeah.
weird. This whole movie is just weird. I'm not a fan of the weirdness going on.
The weird.
There's some weird that's good, but this is bad weird.
A good touch, bad touch.
Damn it, my
Beat you to it. This movie is bad touch.
yes, it is. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my private square.
Oh, God. So, again, yeah, I completely get why you guys are dreading this movie. I get it. I thought it looked like a piece of shit early on. But after seeing a couple of the trailers, there are some moments that I watched and I'm like, you know what? I might be able to have fun with this. Again, I'm not going to go out of my way to see it, but there were a couple moments I was genuinely laughing in the trailer.
He brainwashed. Your boy, he's sick. He really is sick. You need to make some chicken noodle soup or something.
I don't like chicken noodle soup, I'm sorry.
To die.
He'll just have to go see it by himself.
Yeah, I don't plan on seeing it. If it's on Netflix, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I mean, but I do agree. This is a very odd choice for this entire cast. You know, I wouldn't think any of them would sign on for this kind of movie.
Well, Johnny Depp makes some weird choices a lot.
Yes, he does.
So that does not surprise me at all.
True, but at the same time, Johnny Depp, as we've seen with Transcendence, he doesn't have the star power we thought he had.
Right.
I mean, some people used to go and see movies just because Johnny Depp was in it. That's
They
not
did?
Yeah, some people did. I don't think that's really the case anymore. I don't think he has the same draw power. He's still a big actor, but
Yeah.
because he's doing so many of these odder parts, people are like, "Oh, look, it's Johnny Depp being weird again." You know?
Yeah, it's Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp.
Right. So, I don't know. I think the Johnny Depp mystique has finally worn off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hope this kills his career at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually. I think you're right. I'm kind of just sick of seeing him. And
Yeah, and I know Paul.
lot.
I know Paul is a huge fan of Johnny Depp, and he still wants to see all the pirate films and everything. But I don't know. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say I thought Johnny Depp was maybe like gay in this movie because he kept kissing Gwyneth Paltrow and they start taking a spit take.
Right. That was odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on to our next trailer, which is not getting much better, which is Strange Magic.
I'm going to destroy you.
No need to worry. I will protect the kingdom.
My hair's doing that thing we both love.
Whoa!
Nobody ever goes into the dark forest.
I'm not afraid of them.
That's right.
An army approaches. Sound the alarm.
The potion's dangerous.
It destroys order.
I want it!
You should see your face. Wait, I can show you.
Wild thing. Dawn! Release my sister!
Give me the potion by moondown, or you'll never see your sister again.
We must rescue Dawn! Who's with me?
Like a beautiful looking bad video game.
Oh,
yes.
that's a very good analogy, actually. Yeah.
Another thing that's just weird. This
Oh yeah,
this
really
trailer
weird.
is also weird.
Right. And again, I have to say,
Kidnapping and date rape and all this stuff.
Date rape.
wait, where did you get date rape from?
He was trying to get some love potion to put into this girl after he kidnaps her and everything, and then he chains her up in his tower.
Oh.
She gets the love potion and she's addicted to him and he doesn't want that anymore. And I'm like, oh. It's not like a Saturday night for me, but
So a couple things about this. First off, this is, as you saw in the trailer, this is a Lucasfilm movie, but this was actually the first production from Lucasfilm after being acquired from Disney. Okay. So technically, this is a Disney film.
But Disney doesn't want their name on it.
Disney does not. Yeah, they put Touchstone on this. You know, like right at the beginning, you see Touchstone. This is Touchstone, not Disney. Touchstone. They made sure that was up there right away. But they have to remember, Touchstone is owned by Disney, so it doesn't really matter. Yes, this is Lucasfilm's first production since being acquired by Disney. The only other thing you could say, the last film that Lucasfilm made was Red Tails. Now, do you remember Red Tails?
Yeah, it was that the people in the airplanes in the
right,
war.
the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
In World War II, yeah. Apparently Red Tails was not very good, but that was the last thing made by Lucasfilm. And then Lucas came out like a little, whiner and was like, oh, no one likes my movies anymore. I'm just going to do small independent films now. Okay, Lucas, yeah, sure. Like, you have fun, enjoy. But anyway, so the director of this is Gary Rydstrom. Now, oddly enough, this man has won 7 Academy Awards.
Really?
Yeah. The only thing
For
is,
what?
they've all been in Best Sound and Sound Mixing and Sound Effects. So this guy is really good with sound.
Oh, right.
But that's about it. He has directed 2 short films, and they were 2 Pixar shorts. One of them was Lifted, which was an alien one, if you remember a while back.
Yeah.
And he also directed Toy Story Hawaiian Vacation, which had to deal with Ken and Barbie and some of the other ones.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, those were short films, and they're, made by Pixar. Pixar short films are some of the best things you'll ever watch. I love them.
Yeah.
Because Pixar makes sure their short films are always bank. They're always very good. I don't know what to say about this director. I mean, he doesn't really have a full-length movie under his belt yet, but he's been around the industry for a long time, and has worked with a lot of stuff with Lucasfilm, a lot of stuff with Pixar, even a few Disney shorts. So, I hope he's competent with directing, but we'll see what happens with this movie. So, as far as the voice cast, we have Alan Cumming playing the Bog King, who was the main evil guy.
They didn't even announce any of these people.
They did not announce any of the cast, right?
Yeah.
But Alan Cumming is the Bog King. Maya Rudolph is apparently the lead actress.
Oh.
And Alfred Molina is also a voice in here.
Uh-huh.
So, not bad actors in this.
Okay.
But again, can anyone sum up what this movie is about?
Date rape.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, but the way to look of it is something about, like I said, I thought it was a Bug Life. Then all of a sudden, after a Bug Life, I thought it was like Fern Galley. Then after watching it, it's not Fern Galley. It became something else. So it's like a Bug Life and Fern Galley had date rape together, and they made this baby.
Yep. I think that's pretty accurate.
A very accurate description, John. Thank you.
You made me watch this.
Yeah, it was some in the beginning to do with that there's the worlds of the magic and the mysterious, and you can't cross a line or something. And then there's there's the evil side, the dark side of the forest, where there's trolls and goblins. The other side, which has fairies and elves.
And that girl does look. Now that you said it, does look a lot like the I forget her name from Fern Gully.
Oh God,
the lead girl.
I
can't think of her name though.
All I remember is that Robin Williams was Batty.
Yeah.
I can't remember the girl's name from Fern Gully.
I think it begins with an E or something.
You know what? Fern Gully holds a special place in my heart.
It's like Shrek, Fern Galley, and that other movie all wrapped together.
Right. That's absolutely right. And I don't know what to make of this. It looks like there's random music segments throughout the movie. And
yeah, like whoever was kidnapped, like her sister or something, like
just randomly singing.
Yeah, singing, and then like the girl and that bad guy are like fighting, and then like they're friends, and I don't know what's going on.
It makes no sense.
So weird.
Either the editor is drunk, or whoever made this trailer had no idea what they put in. Just throw random clips in there. Yeah, it'll make sense.
If you look at it closely too, the bad guy is not really going to be the real bad guy. It could have ended up being the blonde haired dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because him and the girl, they kind of have some funny wit. He's not really bad. I'm telling you, he could end up getting with the sister, even though he kidnapped the other sister.
Exactly. Yep.
It's gonna go the whole Frozen type.
Right. And that's a good comparison. It's gonna be the whole sister friendship went out in the end or something. Yeah.
But it looked beautiful. It
no.
Really, it looked.
Oh,
The
yeah.
animation looks amazing, and that's why I'm like, you know what? Lucasfilm is on their game as far as the animation, but you need
the story is just
some writing. Yeah, to
weird.
write the damn thing. You know, don't just throw random pop songs in there. It's weird. It's very, very weird. And not one part was there a joke in here that I laughed at. Like, some of the jokes, I'm like, was that even a joke?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't even know if you're attempting to be funny so much as just awkward. You know?
I did enjoy, you know, I guess the strong female lead character. She kind of like slapped the guy or punched him.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More girl power.
Yeah, right.
The only time I got a chuckle out of this movie or at the trailer, was at the very end. The whole thing of, don't eat the girl with all the monsters surrounding her. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
Brutus! And just kind of walks away. That was the only thing I laughed at. Everything else, I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Just another bad weird.
Yeah, another bad weird
bad
movie.
touch movie.
Right.
Another bad. See, told you. See, look at that. Y'all coming to my side. Bad touching all over.
And the one thing you have to remember in this team, before we move on, the last thing I want to say is, from the mind of George Lucas. I remember when that used to mean something. To say it's from the mind of George Lucas is now actually a scary thought. I really mean that. It's like, I don't know if I want to touch anything that comes out of that guy's mind anymore. It's just, when you give that guy free reign on a story, you get the prequels. So we're going to move on to our next teaser, or our next trailer, I should say, which is The Boy Next Door.
Look, Noah, I was feeling vulnerable. I'm the adult. I wasn't thinking clearly. I can't do this.
Hey, Noah, do you want to stay for dinner?
Hey, Mrs. Peterson. Tell him what happened this weekend.
What happened?
Oh, there was a big thunderstorm. You guys didn't get it up there?
No, dry as a bone at the lake.
Well, it got pretty wet here.
Principal Warren.
Good news, I've approved your request for Noah Sanborn to join your class.
Kevin, did you send an email from my account?
Sounds like you've been hacked. You should really change your password.
Oh my goodness.
Just keeping them going, John.
The worst week ever.
Yeah. Well, it's January. January is the dumping ground. What can we say?
Okay, fair enough. Enough.
So, I have a few choice words for this, but let's get over the finer points of this first. So, the director is Rob Cohen, and he's actually directed some decent films and some really shitty ones. He directed Dragonheart, which is actually one of my favorite movies from my childhood.
I like Dragonheart.
I like Dragonheart as well. He directed The Fast and the Furious, the original one.
Okay.
He directed Triple X, which was the Vin Diesel film. He also directed Stealth, which was fucking terrible. He directed The Mummy 3, which is one of the worst movies of all time. And he directed Alex Cross, which is apparently a...
Stop.
John's like, I'm going to throw up. Stop it.
Now he directed his Lifetime movie that got pushed to theaters because of Jennifer Lopez has her star power.
Right.
And now she's going to make every cougar in the world have sex with a whole bunch of young men, which I'm not really, I'm not opposed of it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if I can get grabbed by a cougar that look like Jennifer Lopez, then I'm all aboard. I'm not halfway in shape as this 17-year-old kid that she's sleeping with, Because the way the trailer shows, he has his muscles gleaming as she's trying to hold up in his garage.
Oh, of course.
Poor 50-year-old woman with this young, busty man.
I think you had it perfectly. It's a Lifetime movie
Right.
that made it to the big screen.
Right, that's absolutely right, yeah.
Lifetime love Jennifer Lopez. She's almost single-handedly create Lifetime. You know how many times they have played Enough?
Oh, yeah.
And base movies on Enough? A movie about a woman, learning how to fight.
Right.
And then she comes back and kills her husband in his house.
Right, absolutely.
He was a dick anyway.
But anyway, so in this movie, of course, we have Jennifer Lopez. Well, the lead actor, the young guy's name is, he's not even a young guy. You can tell he's like 25 or 26.
Yeah, he looks like he's about 30 and
Right.
he's supposed to be like
His name
18.
is Ryan Guzman, and he's not really been in anything notable except for a couple of the Step Up movies. He was in Step Up 4 and 5. We also have in this John Corbett, who I think plays.
Oh yeah.
Her.
He's been in.
Yeah.
Her husband.
Right.
Nobody cares. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those are the only notable actors in this. But let's think about this for a second. So we have a movie like The Girl Next Door. The Girl Next Door was a silly little rom-com that was actually, quite charming for its time. Everyone had fun with it, and was, fun. It was just fun. It was good fun. I think it was rated R, but kids had a good time with it. And if it's on TV, I'll still sit down and watch it. The Girl Next Door is just fun. The Boy Next Door is fucking psychotic, apparently.
Yeah.
And I like that, that comparison between the two. The Girl Next Door is just gonna be fun, silly humor about a prom and a guy getting in trouble. The Boy Next Door is a fucking killer.
Is he supposed to be a high schooler though?
Yeah, he's supposed to apparently be in the same school as Jennifer Lopez's son, and gets into one of her classes.
Even though he's like 35.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I mean, teachers are already sleeping with kids nowadays in class, so they don't need a movie to help promote this.
Right. Now, I want to bring that up, John. You bring that up, and I do want to stress this, because this is the one thing that really upsets me about this kind of movie. And Karen, if you're listening, I'm sure you're going to hate me for saying this, but bear with me. Nowadays, one of the biggest fears in society is the predatory male teacher attacking the young female student. Am I wrong?
All right, you're right.
Right, I mean, that's a big fear that a lot of, mothers and fathers have with their daughters going to school, is their daughter, being not attacked by a teacher, but, being, I guess you could say, taken advantage of by an older male teacher. We see that story a lot in the media.
On Lifetime.
Not just on Lifetime.
Oh.
But
only on Lifetime.
but that occurs. Well, in that scenario, the man is the predator. The teacher is the predator, and for fair reason. The teacher is taking advantage of a younger person who doesn't know exactly what they're doing, and therefore is the victim in this.
Right.
So now we reverse the roles. Now we have a female teacher who is apparently vulnerable and scared because, she's getting out of a relationship and whatever, and takes advantage of a younger guy. Because he now is, even though he's attracted to her, she's the adult in this. She has all of the power to say, no, stop this. And she goes with it.
But wait, Mike. In the trailer, she already says that she knows she made a mistake and it was silly. So now that absolves her of all responsibility.
Stop. Just stop.
That's how the trailer portrayed it to him.
I know.
I made a silly mistake. I'm so sorry.
But just hear me. I get you're saying that, John, but just hear me out. So, throughout this trailer, we see her being, quote unquote, terrorized by this guy. How he's, printing up pictures of her and, and trying to stalk her, trying to get too close to her family, and he's wielding a gun at one point. So let's take this into account. Male teacher attacks female student. Male is the predator. Female teacher is in a relationship with a male student. Male is the predator. So no matter what is going on in these relationships, the male is the predator. Always. It cannot be that the female teacher is a predator. We've seen cases in America where a female teacher has taken advantage of a younger student. And the female teacher isn't, how do I put this? They're not written off as the victim. They're the attacker. They're the ones who are taking advantage of the young boys. Yet now when it comes to cinema, now the female is the victim, despite the fact that she's the adult in this situation.
It would have been I would have loved to see this movie if she became like the aggressor.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
If she stalked him, that
awesome. Would have been a much better story.
We had to have a movie like that. I mean, well, granted, we just had Gone Girl, Gone Girl is a copy, and I'm sorry to say, because I love Gone Girl, but Gone Girl is a copy of a Thin Line Between Love and Hate. If you've seen that,
I have not seen that actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
But we saw Gone Girl, and we really liked Gone Girl. Yeah.
You got to see A Thin Line from Love and Hate. It had Martin Lawrence in it. It was almost the same thing as Gone Girl, but you got to see it. But
feel
no,
like we have to
I mean, I
watch
would
it.
love to see like Jennifer Lopez like hunting this kid down and trying to kill him and everything.
Right, like
what if that was the reverse?
that would have been a better movie. Now again, that would have been a little cliche. It's the whole teacher taking advantage of the kid, but now it's the sex reversal. And I think that would have made for a much better movie. But instead, because Jennifer Lopez is Jennifer Lopez, she has to be the victim.
Kim, how do you kiss this patriarchy right here? I don't know. How do you kiss this male patriarchy? This white male privilege?
I don't know either.
Yeah, I know I'm going to get a bunch of flack for this because it's like
she was going through some hard time with her husband. Okay, yes, she had sex with this young man, but he initiated it and he forced himself into her. Okay,
Yeah.
she couldn't control. Women can't control their emotions and their hormones.
God.
So he took advantage of her poor defenseless mind.
Yeah, that was the one thing I did not like about. Well, not the one thing. One of the things about how she's like, I was such in a weak state of mind. Oh, I was so taken advantage of. Like, really? Just like get over yourself.
you're a fucking adult. Like, seriously.
50 years old.
Oh my god. That fucking mindset of, I was in a vulnerable state and he's fucking 17.
Did they say that he's 17?
I'm pretty sure when he's like either lifting up that garage door or somewhere early, he's like, I don't think, no, he doesn't.
He comes up to her and says, "Hi, I'm 17 years old."
No, he doesn't say that. But I'm almost certain he says he's 17 at one point.
Oh, okay.
I just don't like what this movie is stating about female.
Fuck you, Mike. We don't have a Kim in our life. All right, I can't wait for my hot Jennifer Lopez push up against me in a weak state of mind. Her weak female mind can't control itself.
I just don't like the statements this movie is making as far as predators and and teachers and stuff like that. I'm not saying Jennifer Lopez has to be a predator, but don't play her up as a victim because she's not a victim at all. If you reverse the roles from the male and female, why is it one way the male is always the predator?
When you
it's
reverse not every single story that they tell in the movies has the male teacher be some creepy predator. Not a lot of times, but sometimes they have the girl who dresses, the young teenage high school girl dresses very slutty, makes inappropriate comments to the male teacher, that kind of stuff. So it's not all the time that the girl is played up as the victim.
And I get that, but yet the man is still at fault in that situation because he's the adult and he acted on his whims. And
in his weak state of mind.
And in his weak state of mind, yeah. But that takes advantage of her. And even as such, even as evil as that girl may have been, he would still be at fault.
Yeah, and so would Jennifer Lopez.
But no,
she says, I could lose my job over this.
Right, but the movie is still playing her as the victim, that she's not really at fault for this at all. It's all him. And I don't like that mindset.
I have more of a problem with them painting her as such a weak, frail woman because she's going through a divorce and, oh God, I need some man here. So,
I mean, granted, it's easier to get some from divorced women. they do put out pretty good.
Wow.
I mean, they have standards though. At least they're gonna try to get a college guy, or they're gonna sleep with your friend that you grew up with, or something.
Right, exactly. That's more understandable.
Mom, get off my friend.
Anyway, moving on to our next trailer, which is Project Almanac.
Hey, what is this?
That's my 7th birthday. Whoa, did you see that? Hold on a sec.
What?
I just saw something weird. You guys, you gotta see this. Right there. Look in the mirror.
Dude, that can't be.
That's definitely me. We need to figure out what I'm doing on this tape. You hear that? It's in my dad's old workshop. It's like a clicking or something.
What the hell is that? Here we go, Project Almanac. Temporal relocation prototype? What does that mean?
It means time travel.
We should try to build it.
You guys are crazy. We can't build a time machine.
Did you see the tape? I mean, I think we already did build it.
All right, you guys ready for this?
Oh my God.
Yeah, they just keep on coming, John. They keep
Chronicle?
on coming.
Chronicle with a time machine?
Right, it's Chronicle with a time machine.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's what they should have named this movie.
That's great. That would have been a great title, Chronicle with a Time Machine. I would have seen that. Anyway.
Time Chronic.
Time Chronic.
Yes.
So this movie, we have Dean Israelite is the director, who is his directorial debut. And up until this point, he's only made short films. So this is a first for him. But he has good backing because his producer is Michael Bay.
Oh.
Ooh,
oh
boy. Yeah. Ooh,
oh,
boy. And the studio is Platinum Dunes.
Oh, even better.
Ooh, even better. I love that studio, Platinum Dunes. Oh, boy. Such classics as, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street reboots and all these reboots, I should say. The Amityville Horror reboot, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot, or The Unborn, or, oh gosh, what are some other ones? Ouija most recently. Oh, yeah, these are all great movies. Fuck you, Platinum Dunes. Fuck you. This is easily the worst studio in Hollywood, and anything that comes out from this studio is bullshit.
Didn't they make one of your favorite horror films last year? What was it? Not Alibi, Amoeba.
Annabelle?
Annabelle, yeah, not Annabelle.
Amoeba.
Who was the movie before Annabelle?
The Conjuring? No, yeah, The Conjuring.
Yeah, didn't they make it?
No. That was not that wasn't Platinum Dunes. That may have been that might have been Lionsgate. I don't know, but no, it wasn't Platinum Dunes.
I don't know.
No.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but I won't rant about Platinum Dunes much longer. But I just did want to say they don't have a whole lot of movies under their belt, but out of 11 movies that they have, only one of them is above 50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which one?
That would be Purge Anarchy.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I didn't know that Platinum Dunes made the Purge movies.
Right. Now, Michael Bay was a producer on the first Purge. I don't know if he was a producer on the second one, but it's probably why the second one was better.
He was a producer for the first and second one.
Oh, he was?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember him being a producer on the first. Well, anyway.
He's your god now.
So, yeah, one movie out of 11 has a rating above 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I know Rotten Tomatoes isn't exactly a good judge, but that's saying something. Out of 11 movies, only one has a positive score. That's pretty fucking pathetic. Way to go, Platinum Dunes. But anyway, with this movie, we have Johnny Weston, who has been in such movies as Johnny Dies in the End, or I should say John Dies at the End, Taken 3, and Insurgent. Anyone else in this cast? I have no idea who they are.
I don't know. Bunch of kids.
It's just a bunch of kids, right. And the premise of this is it's some kids who are, awkward at school and just kind of a weird little social class. And they apparently have, one of them has a father who was working on time travel. Like, he called it like a temporal displacement machine or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking time machine. Come on. I always hate when in movies they try and call a time machine something different.
Yeah.
It's a variable temporal vorflux machine. It's a time machine, asshole. Come on.
It's a second goer backer.
A second goer backer. Yeah, there you go.
I would appreciate that more than something that tries to sound scientific.
Right. But the kids stumble onto this and somehow manage to actually assemble this fucking thing. How they managed to assemble a time machine is beyond me.
Because they knew they would do it. Because they saw the video.
Right. So they knew they had to assemble it.
Yeah. They just knew it would happen.
So it's like the whole Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban. It's like, oh, I cast the Patronus because I knew I could cast the Patronus because I saw myself cast the Patronus.
Yeah.
All right.
But that makes...
dog, I heard you like Patronus.
Right. So put a Patronus in your Patronus. Oh, man.
We gotta make that mean.
Oh, yes. Someone make that. Make a Patronus and a Patronus and a Patronus. Damn it, Exhibit. So they end up screwing a bit with time travel, and apparently, according to what I've read about this, at first they're trying to be very benevolent with their time travel. They're trying to fix things that have gone bad in their past. They're trying to save people's lives, which is all really good. But then they start getting a little selfish with it. They start winning the lottery, and they start fucking with bullies at school. you know, which is funny, you know, but, you know, you're kind of taking advantage of this. And then one of the kids goes and does one of the dumbest fucking things imaginable and meets himself in the timeline.
Yeah, he like tries to like prank himself. He's
Right.
like, oh look, I'm drawing on myself.
What?
Like,
This-
really?
This stupid shit.
First of all, why would you prank yourself? That is the dumbest thing ever.
Right.
But anyway.
Right. I'm sitting there like, okay, wait a minute. Did you not see Back to the Future 2? You little stupid shit. You do not meet yourself, okay? It creates a time paradox where time cannot solve itself, and you will literally fuck up time. All of time. You stupid little shit. You cannot meet yourself. It's like going back and shooting your grandfather. You can't fucking do it.
Yeah, like didn't he looked at himself and all of a sudden he blinked out of existence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He looks at me and he's like, what? And he just starts like
Yeah.
going extinct. Like, what? Yeah, you stupid shit.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Don't fucking mess with yourself.
Now, are they going to exploit this rule? Like, are they going to do something where somebody going to have a mask on and then the guy going to see another guy with the mask and not recognize that's him?
They could do something like that,
Yeah.
right? That's the only way you can get away with, you know, time travel paradoxes where, you know, you don't realize you're meeting yourself or something like that.
Right.
Right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. That's how they get away with
guess.
certain things like that.
Man, I must be smart. I just thought of something.
You
I'm
solved
going to have
it.
sex with myself and I don't even know it.
I like how the kids were saying like, oh, all these terrible things are happening because of us. So does that mean that they caused like the Malaysian airplane
Oh,
to disappear?
God.
It's their fault.
Oh, no!
It was like Breaking Bad, you know.
Oh,
The pilot out of the out for lunch and drank with him and he couldn't focus on his job.
Yep.
man. Yeah, because
It's all their fault.
you see at one point like they're screwing up with time and you see planes crashing
Yeah.
and like tsunamis. You're like, what the fuck? What did these kids do?
Maybe they didn't even pay attention to the news that day. Like maybe that plane was going to crash anyway. And then that time they actually paid attention. Sometimes you don't pay attention to the news. Like the other day, I didn't know about the whole Muslim thing happening. I made a big old Muslim joke. And then I'm like, oh, God. You know, I got home like, oh, well.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I guess that wasn't the Shiite.
The views of Chicago John do not directly reflect Projectionist Productions.
There's no Muslims in Delaware. You're fine.
There are no Muslims in Delaware.
You know, because we're in Canada.
Right, we're in Canada. Because there are no Muslims in Canada either.
No.
Oh, man. Anyway, regarding this movie, I mean, it's the whole found footage genre, which, you know, I like found footage, but they're trying to find more ways of, you know, going about found footage without it being horror. Because almost, you know, 90% of found footage right now is horror. You know, we had some other examples that it wasn't, of course, Chronicle, which I love Chronicle.
Yeah.
Project X, which got some pretty bad reviews. Other ones like Earth to Echo was another one that was like that. But, you know, they're trying to branch out the found footage genre, and this is another example of that. And I like that they're trying to do that, but I just don't want to see it from Platinum Dunes.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, found footage is one of the cheaper genres you can make right now. I think that's great, where you can tell great stories and do it for cheap. Like, that's what Chronicle did. That's great. But it has to be something worthwhile making. You know, this is a studio now that Platinum Dunes is saying, oh, well, it's cheap. Let's make it for cheap, and we'll make our money back on it. That's all this is.
Yeah.
So, I'm not looking forward to this. I mean, I like time travel movies. I do. I like the idea of, you know, paradoxes in time. I like the idea of, you know, what you mess with, you know, and distortions. I think that's great. But not done by Michael Bay, you know? Because I don't care what people say. There's this director, but if it's Michael Bay, he's going to have his fucking hand in everything. This is going to be a Michael Bay film.
Explosions and
There was an explosion in here.
There was one explosion. Yeah. Oh, man. So, no, not looking forward to it. Kim?
No.
John?
No. I mean, I just need to see the ending of how they solve it, or
Yeah.
like does he ended up like killing himself as a kid or something?
You know what? I was thinking something like that. Yeah, maybe he goes back to that party when he was a kid and screws up something there that changes every other timeline.
Yeah.
Because that's the original point that it starts from.
Right. Yeah.
So who knows? But
just walk into the theater at the last
10 minutes, right, and figure out the ending, right?
Or wait till your younger self go into the ball pit and you choke yourself out.
Oh.
Could you fuck yourself if you wanted to? If you had the mask on, like if you didn't know.
Oh my God. No.
I don't know. We'll find out one day.
Moving on to our next trailer, which is Focus.
I've been in this game for a really long time. I had what I needed. And then the girl walked in.
I know you're doing something big. I want in. You're my eye. Can we skip the part where I lead you to believe there's some earth-shattering hump in the works?
There's no earth-shattering hump in the works?
No.
I don't even get thinly veiled allure.
No.
That's all my favorite shit.
I'm sorry. I can't stand it. So what about the big con?
You mean the one where we make so much money we all retire?
'Cause you're running around.
You see, there's a science to getting people to trust you.
Do we have a deal?
Yes, we have a deal.
I thought it was Hancock too.
That's not a bad analogy.
It
Yeah.
reminded me a lot of American Hustle.
Yeah, some hints of American Hustle in
with
there.
the whole cons and
right.
the biggest.
Who's conning who?
Yeah,
right.
That's what I feel like. It's just going to be one big giant con, and then everyone's...
Right, but more comedy thrown in, basically.
Hey, you guys are blacker than me. I didn't even see that movie, so I can't even agree.
You ever saw American Hustle?
No, just...
It was good. It was really good. It got nominated for 9 Academy Awards and didn't win one of them.
Yeah, it didn't win a single
It's kind
one.
of a shame. I enjoyed it. I've talked about that before. Its parts were greater than its whole, but it was okay. And
it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But as far as this goes, the directors are actually let's see if I can pronounce their names. Glenn Facera and John Recrea. And
Pamela?
What?
Pamela?
Pamela, yes, Pamela.
Pamela?
Now, they've recently directed I Love You, Philip Morris, and Crazy Stupid Love. Now, I actually liked Crazy Stupid Love.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I saw that. I think towards the later part of my reign at Movies 10.
Your reign?
My reign.
You were
my evil reign!
Of the movie theater?
Yeah. During my stay at the theater, I think that was one of the last movies that was showing.
Oh, okay.
It was, what was it, Steve Carell and Emma Stone. I forget the other younger guy who was in it, but it was okay. It was fun. It was fine for what it was. So these are competent directors. I think they've made some decent movies in the past. And in the cast, we do have Will Smith. Obviously, we also have Margot Robbie. Now she was recently in the
Margot.
Margot.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled Margot. I don't know if you call her Margot.
Usually that's pronounced Margot.
Even though there's a T on the end?
Yes.
Okay. Margot. Sorry. There's a T there. I'm going to say Margot.
You're so black.
So, Pamela Robbie. Margot Robbie, who was recently in The Wolf of Wall Street, but she's actually been confirmed. I didn't know this. This actress is going to be Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
Right. So this is my first time seeing her because I didn't see The Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
So I'm looking at her this entire time. I'm looking at her saying, I'm trying to see Harley Quinn in this girl,
Oh my gosh. You gotta see, if you saw her in The Wolf of Wall Street, you can totally see her Harley Quinn.
Really?
Yeah, especially like when she gets crazy and starts screaming and yelling. I mean, I don't even know why they didn't get Tara Strong, because it's not like she's not hot and young to become, she could totally be Harley Quinn, but...
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. Tara Strong, it would be like getting, a Mark Hamill to actually play the Joker, Which, he's playing the trickster in The Flash, but that's an entirely different thing. But, I think that'd be great if Tara Strong played Harley Quinn, but I don't know. I just think, you need... Harley Quinn has a certain amount of not just sex appeal, but also, body language and finesse to who she is. And I'm not saying Tara Strong can't be that. She could be that. But I just think that it would only be the real hardcore fans of a lot of the other properties would get who Tara Strong is and why she was cast for that. Most moviegoers just want to see that pretty face up there who can portray it well. And maybe Margot Robbie can portray it well. But
your patriarchy. I mean, you have a woman who can do it because she have done the voice before and she's good at acting, and you just want a pretty face on there. All right, go ahead. Go ahead and talk about your hand.
Okay, well, no. Okay, let's say this. Let's say that for the Suicide Squad, they cast Mark Hamill to play the Joker, which I would love that. I think that'd be amazing. But the studio would want someone younger. They would want someone who could, perform that role with, a style akin to Mark Hamill, but has, the ability to be more physical and, to, unleash more of a sexuality to the performance. I know it's hard to say that about the Joker, but something about that. And you get someone like Jared Leto to do that, which is what they did. So I'm not saying that...
So you're just being the voice of the studio.
I'm being the voice of the studio, right.
Sure, likely story.
No, I would love Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. I think that'd be fucking great. I just get why the studio wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Anyway, so this movie is about, like you had mentioned, some sort of con artist, Will Smith. Uh-huh. And very early on, he gets tricked into going to a hotel room and is obviously plays off right away as, oh, this is a con. And it's like, oh, my husband's here,
I think you should put tricked in quotes because he knew it the whole time.
Right, he didn't know it the whole time. Yeah, he goes up to the hotel room and is just kind of playing it off for laughs. It's like, well, I wanted to see what you guys are up to, and I like boobs. So.
Yeah.
I like that. I was like, that's pretty good. But
that wasn't even a trick. He can't trick people for boobs.
Because boobs. But apparently the premise of this movie is that Margot Robbie approaches him, and she's like an up-and-coming con artist.
Yes.
And she says to him, look, I want you to kind of train me on what you do and, how you've gotten to where you are. And the premise of the movie is they get apparently pretty close, which makes Will Smith very weary because... his whole thing is he has to be alone in order to pull off the best con. He always gets people to trust him, but he doesn't trust anybody.
Okay.
So once he starts getting close to Margot Robbie, he says, you know what? I can't continue this because I don't know if I can actually trust you because I don't know if you're going to con me.
Did you research this or?
Yeah, I researched this.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I was going to say, or are you just making this up, pulling it out of your ass?
This is what I found in the plot.
I saw the trailer too, and I'm like, okay, you focus too much on this movie.
So, hey now. The main basis of this film is that this is several years later, and now Margot Robbie is in with some, I don't know if it's some security firm or some really rich guy, and you don't know if she's conning him or if she's there to con Will Smith.
Okay.
You don't really know. But now she has kind of become the master of this whole game, and Will Smith is like, well, I taught you all this, why are you fucking with me?
I didn't get any of that part.
Well,
right.
Well, again, that's not really...
You were the chosen one.
Real nice, John. That's not really explained in the teaser, or in the trailer, I should say, but that's apparently where the movie is going.
Uh-huh.
Now, a couple things about this. First off, I want to say, Will Smith is 46, Margot Robbie is 24. Yeah. She is half his age. So,
okay.
I'm looking at this like, damn, Smith, it's like, we've seen age gaps before, just Boy Next Door, we've seen this kind of age gap before, but not where it's, I don't know, I feel very odd about this pairing.
Why?
Well, take, for example, Get Smart. Do you remember the remake of Get Smart?
I didn't see it.
Well,
was that with Steve Carell?
Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, that's
right.
What it was. Why did I think? Oh no, they were in they were in Date movie or something.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So, even in that, with the age difference between Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway, they had them be romantic, but they kind of retconned it where they said, oh, well, she was actually older and got a lot of work done to make her look younger. So they're actually around the same age.
Okay.
And in other movies where this has happened, where the romantic leads are supposed to have a big age gap, another one like Goldmember, where it was Mike Myers and Beyonce. Really big age gap between them. They had them have a little simple kiss at the end, but there wasn't really a whole lot of romance between them.
You mean like age difference in the movie of the characters or age difference in real life?
In real life.
Okay.
So...
But in the movie,
it's part of... I'm sorry, go ahead.
In the movies, are they supposed to be close in age or are they supposed to be far apart?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question. I'm assuming they're supposed to be farther apart in the movie as well, but we don't really know. But I look at this, I'm like, this is kind of uncomfortable. I'm not saying that Will Smith wouldn't try and get with this girl. I'm not saying that at all. But it just seems a very odd age difference between these two.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't see that at all.
You and your patriarchy.
Why do you keep bringing up the patriarchy? Patriarchy has nothing to do with this.
You can have an old man on screen, and America will be fine with it. But you can't have you can't have an old woman on screen. That's the way you like it, don't you, Mike?
The fuck are you saying?
Go check your privilege at the door.
John, go back to Tumblr. What the fuck? Jezebel called. They want their comments back.
They do? Okay. I hope this doesn't...
Start your hate mail.
That'd be awesome.
Jesus.
Your show will be off the street. They're going to kidnap Kim and just have her and try to brainwash her.
But, I mean, what do you guys think? Are you guys looking forward to this?
I don't know. I think, after hearing that explanation where it's something where they separate and then he sees her with somebody else, not really. I thought it was something a little bit different than that. Like, he had this, like, almost like a company thing that conned a lot of people, and she wanted in on it, and then they were going to do the biggest con ever, and then I thought it was like kind of like that kind of thing, but I don't know. I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah, I'm interested in it, but yeah, it is just really like the lone wolf con. It's like Will Smith is just by himself. He's always been by himself, and now that he has someone, he's like questioning everything he's ever done. It's kind of like that thing.
Oh.
At least that's what I'm getting from the trailer and from what I've looked up. And that can be fine. That can be fun. And this movie does look fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I would just go out of my way to see this or not.
I feel like it's been done.
Yes, this has been done.
Yeah.
Not just with the movies like American Hustle, but this whole thing of the con artists, trying to get one over on the system or some big uppity guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how to feel about this.
Right.
I mean, it just looked like one of those, if you had a date night, if you're like an old couple and you had a date night, like, oh, okay, let's see this movie about this con artist who trained this girl, and then she becomes just as good, but then they both get caught up in this thing. But then, at the end of the movie, they both were kind of working it together.
Right.
Pull off the biggest con to retire with one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. I'm not dreading it either. It's just kind of one of those where it's like, I don't know if I'll go out of my way to see it, but it probably won't be bad. It might be all right.
Right.
Well, we'll see what happens with it. Gotta see maybe some more TV spots or previews for it.
Maybe if we get that Movie Pass thing, we might go on.
We'll get Movie Pass, and we might take some time out to see it.
Yeah.
Movie Pass, brought to you by the Projector.
And moving on to our next trailer, which is Woman in Gold.
Here she is, my aunt, Adela, painted by Gustav Klimt.
That's quite a painting.
She was taken off the walls of our home by the Nazis. And since then, she's been hanging in the Belvedere Gallery in Vienna.
And now you'd like to be reunited.
Wouldn't that be lovely? And then there's justice.
You really think a painting that ends up as a fridge magnet will ever leave Austria?
It'd be a mistake not to take a look.
Could you drive a little faster?
We're gonna be there 4 hours early.
But I want to buy perfume and cognac in duty-free.
I thought it was Montreal again. This is not Montreal?
Montreal?
This is like part 2 from Montreal.
What are you talking about, John?
The Johnny Depp movie?
Mordecai!
Mordecai.
Montreal! Now who's in Canada? What the fuck?
We're both ignorant today.
Jesus. You know what I thought of when I saw this? I thought of Philomena.
That's exactly what I thought
This
of.
looks
Philomena.
just like Philomena.
Yeah. It's like an art version and a little less
Of what?
touching story of Philomena.
Philomena came out last year. I forget the actress's name who was in it.
Oh,
but
it wasn't Judi Dench, was it?
I forget her name. She was M in the Bond series for a long time, that actress. It's about her trying to discover her long-lost son, and then a reporter comes onto her case and helps her try and track down her long-lost son. And it came out last year, was nominated for a few Academy Awards. We ended up seeing it at Wilm Film last year.
Yeah, it is Judi Dench.
Judi Dench, okay.
Yeah.
Very good movie, and I had a very good time with it. This is very reminiscent of that. It's the woman who's trying to recover something she lost from long, long ago, and someone comes along, in this case a lawyer, not a reporter, trying to help her, and then, she is, kind of being weird and quirky the entire time.
Right.
And then they go off and it gets very serious towards the middle, and only this time it involves Nazis.
Yeah. And I just feel like the story itself isn't as touching. I mean, I know it says, true story, so was Philomena. It's just not, Philomena was a little bit more heart-wrenching as what happened to it.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, not only is it because it's about a person and not a piece of art,
right,
but because of the themes it deals with who that guy is and what ends up happening towards the end of why she couldn't find him.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far
this
as
is like Monument Men and Philomena together.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong with, this story. I mean, it's a heartbreaking story.
Right.
Because a lot of this did happen where, belongings were lost during World War II because of the Nazis. And there are still cases in Switzerland and in Austria and other cases around there where art is now displayed prominently in, national exhibitions and national monuments, and it doesn't belong to those countries.
Right.
It belongs
burn it. They should just burn it then out of spite. Somebody started bitching about it and want it back, just burn the shit. There, nobody has it.
Damn, John!
I really wanted my painting back that you stole. Your ancestors stole from me. Oh, okay. You want this shit? There it is. It's on fire now. And now you're about to die, lady. You're going to die and no one will ever know that you had art. Good day. Good day to you, ma'am.
I said good day.
You see this? This is on T-shirts. These are on German T-shirts, okay? 999. You're not getting this back.
Wow. So the director of this... God. The director is Simon Curtis. Now, if you haven't heard of his name, it's because he's only directed one movie, which is called My Week with Marilyn, which was a documentary about Marilyn Monroe, which came out a few years ago. But that's his only movies so far, to his credit. Now, in this, we have Helen Mirren, who is a phenomenal actress. She won the Academy Award, I think, for The Queen back in 2006 or 2007. She's also been in other films like Red and, oh gosh, I'm spacing on her other movies. But very good actress. I'm always a fan of her work. We also have Ryan Reynolds. We have David Brühl, and you may remember him from Rush. He was do you remember Rush?
I don't think I saw.
You did. It was the F1 racing film.
Oh, yeah, that guy, yeah.
Rush, yeah.
I had a good time with Rush. I liked that. And he was the other driver in Rush.
Yeah.
We also have in here Katie Holmes, and Charles Dance, who you may remember better as Tywin Lannister.
Ah.
Yeah. He's in here, and
is he a German?
No, I think he's working with the is it the Austrian or Switzerland government or something.
Oh, so he's a bad guy.
I don't know if he's an outright bad guy or if he's just a representative. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I do see him in the trailer at one point.
Okay.
But as far as this has a very good cast behind it, and if this was released like a month earlier or a couple months earlier, I would suspect this would be something I would consider Oscar bait. Just because of its themes. It's because if you ever want to get your movie nominated for an Oscar, throw Nazis in there. Now, unironically, because there are movies with Nazis, like Dead Snow and stuff like that, where it's killing Nazis. But movies like this really, really tug at the heartstrings, where you have that universal evil that everyone can hate, which of course is the Nazis. And, one little woman going up against the entire system just to get back one little thing that she thinks she deserves, you know?
It's like a bad breakup, You kick her out of the house and then she still wants her stuff. I'm like, come on. Just let it go.
I don't know if it was exactly like that.
Is the Austrian government or someone gonna sing "Let It Go"?
Let it go, let it go.
That's what they should do. When she gets there, they should just put a performance and just have Frozen just perform in front of her. You're not getting your shit,
That'd be great.
This painting isn't worth 2 shits.
What the hell?
It's a shitty gold painting. Da Vinci only drew it just to get in that girl, her auntie pants at the time.
Well, I don't know who the artist actually was. I don't know if they actually mentioned it in the teaser or not, or the trailer.
I thought it said like Da Vinci or like Pablo or whatever.
No, it might have been. Well, no, it wouldn't have been Picasso. No, Picasso would have been very old by that point. It wasn't Da Vinci. Da Vinci would be dead hundreds of years beforehand. No. It may have been a well-known artist. I don't know, but I don't know if it was anyone outright that we would recognize.
So basically, her aunt said to the painter, I want you to paint me like one of your French girls."
Yes, paint me like one of your French girls in gold.
The funny thing is, if you brought up the ancestors of the guy who painted her, or the kids of the guy who painted her aunt, he would have said, "Oh yeah, my grandpa used to do that to tons of girls. That's how he got ass." He just painted shitty paintings, and then these rich girls hung it up in their house.
After they boned.
Wow.
I try to tell the girl, like, look, when the Nazi comes, just let them have it. They think it's worth something. It's not. It's just a bootleg painting for me to get in your pants.
Lots of boning in German-occupied Austria. Yeah.
Because it didn't even look like a real good painting. It just looked like some kindergarten put together some pieces of tape and paper and just like, hey, here you go.
Well, John, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that's the case with art too.
I mean, that's a whole nother episode of how I feel about art.
Yeah. But as far as this movie goes, yeah, you're absolutely right. Lots of notes with Philomena on this.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of hints of that. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's very reminiscent of that almost to a fault.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to see this. It just kind of looks like it's been done before. And I know this is a true story, and it's a heartbreaking story, but I'm sorry, I saw Philomena last year, and Philomena was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it lost its chance of being heartbreaking when they had her and Ryan Reynolds driving around talking about, hurry up, my chocolate is melting. I'm like, okay.
No, but no, John, that goes back to the quirkiness. That's what I'm talking about. That was the quirkiness of Philomena. She would always do that, where they were in Washington, D.C., and they're like wanting to watch a movie, and she's like, oh, let's watch, a Big Mama's House, and it's this little British woman saying, oh, look, Martin Lawrence in a fat suit. It looks so funny, and I'm like, it's that quirkiness that Philomena had that they're trying to bring back in this. And it worked in Philomena, but in this, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I've seen this before,
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, it might very well be a good film. I'm sorry. I just really don't want to see it.
We'll wait until it comes out on something else.
Yeah. Redbox it. Or Netflix, something.
Exactly.
But getting into our final trailer for the night, which was just released a couple days ago, which is Ant-Man.
This is your chance to earn that look in your daughter's eyes, to become the hero that she already thinks you are. It's not about saving our world. It's about saving theirs. Scott, I need you to be the Ant-Man.
This is, I think you could say this was probably the best trailer on the list. Not just because it was shorter, but didn't reveal too much, but just because it was action packed. It was actually something we're anticipating. John, do you know anything about Ant-Man?
I do.
Okay, well, go ahead.
A little bit.
Okay, well, you go ahead. Explain to our viewers what exactly Ant-Man is. If just a little brief rundown.
Well, okay, if we want to talk about the Marvel. If we're talking about this Marvel adaptation, it's going to be a little different.
Right.
What I know about Ant-Man is everything I learned from watching Earth's Mightiest Avengers. And there were two types of Ant-Man. There was the first Ant-Man who created the suit, and then later on there was another guy who stole the suit for his daughter, and the Ant-Man gave him the suit because he didn't want to be Ant-Man anymore. He's a man who can shrink himself down to a micro level, shrink himself down to the size of an ant, communicate with ants and bugs, and he was a scientist. And then sometimes he can grow super large too, and
right.
He only does that like special occasions.
Right, and you see that more.
And he beats his wife.
That's more Hank Pym, yeah. And that's the Ultimates universe, yeah, where he becomes Giant Man, not Ant-Man. And
Giant Douche Man.
Or Giant Douche Man, yeah, really. But yeah, you absolutely nailed it on the head. Yeah, it's a guy who can shrink down to a microscopic level, but still retains his strength and abilities to control small animals, insects of that sort. And yeah, not necessarily a character I'm well versed. I know a lot about, but I liked him a lot in the Ultimates. I know he was an asshole, but I really liked the character. I like what they did with him. So I don't think they're going to go that route with this, not only because, this isn't Hank Pym. This is Scott, I forget the Ant-Man in this. His name's Scott Lang, I think.
The thing about this one, like I saw in the Earth Mightiest Avengers, the guy who, what's the young guy's name?
Scott Lang?
No, I mean the actor.
Oh, the actor. Paul Rudd.
Yeah, so Paul Rudd in this, just like in Earth Mightiest Heroes, he had to do something where he steals the suit, and he's doing this for his daughter. Like, he's trying to help because, he's trying to help save his daughter because she has cancer.
Right.
So.
But yeah, so as you see, Michael Douglas is actually playing Hank Pym. He is what appears to be the retired Ant-Man at this point, and he's passing on the suit to Paul Rudd, who's Scott Lang, who's some sort of thief. And I actually have a little brief synopsis here of the movie. It's basically the thief Scott Lang must aid his mentor, Dr. Hank Pym, in safeguarding the mysterious Ant-Man technology, which allows its user to decrease in size but increase in strength from various new threats, a plot, and a heist that will save the Earth. So somehow it's a heist movie that saves the planet.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That's new.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they stealing one of the Infinity Gems, maybe? Then that would help save the Earth?
Why all the Infinity Gems on Earth?
And not the safest place to be storing all the Infinity Stones, yeah. But anyway, so in this, like we mentioned, we have Paul Rudd playing Scott Lang. We have Michael Douglas playing Hank Pym. We also have actors and actresses like Evangeline Lilly. We have Judy Greer, Michael Pena, and T.I., I think, is also in this. The director of this is Peyton Reed, much to my chagrin. Now, originally we had Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright was this has been covered plenty. I'm probably just telling everyone whatever information they know here, but
Except me.
Yes, sorry. Sorry. Edgar Wright was the original director, and he's done stuff, like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Shaun of the Dead, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
He did all those movies that your annoying movie friend have talked about, but you have never seen.
Right. He did Hot Fuzz. He also did Paul.
Okay.
Not our Paul, but you know what I mean.
He may have done Paul.
He may have done Paul as well, yeah.
Or Paul may have done him. That's probably more likely.
Who knows? But he was originally signed on for this, and everyone was really excited about that because Edgar Wright has been doing fantastic work over the last few years.
Okay, but who's this other guy?
Peyton Reed is now the director.
Right.
Edgar Wright left because he was citing I think the quote was intellectual differences. Like, basically, they didn't like where he was. They're taking the story.
Right,
And
yeah.
he left.
Okay.
They brought in Peyton Reed, who has directed movies like Bring It On.
Love Bring It On. Nothing wrong with that.
The Breakup, and Yes Man. And that's really all he has under his belt.
Okay.
This is big work for a guy like this. All of his other movies have been pretty smaller budget movies, you know.
Not anything. This is like a big action movie.
Yeah, this is the Marvel
highly
franchise.
Anticipated.
Right.
Yeah.
This is going to be the last movie in phase 2 of Marvel. Like, this is a pretty big fucking deal. And you go from Yes Man to Ant-Man. Holy shit. Like, really? Like, this is a pretty big step up, dude. Are you going to be able to fill this? Are you going to be able to fill in Edgar Wright's shoes? That remains to be seen.
Well, the thing is, when they announced that they kicked off Edgar Wright, I'm like, this movie it felt like just last year where they said, like, oh, we kicked him off. But now it's like, the movies are already done.
Right, pretty much.
So how much of the movie, how long did it take them to film this movie from when they kicked him off and replaced him with somebody else?
Yeah, that's true. Now, if you look at the credits for this movie, like the Wikipedia or the IMDb, Edgar Wright is still on the screenplay and the story. So they're apparently still keeping a lot of what he did, but it's just going to be directed by someone else.
Yeah.
So who knows exactly where this movie's going to go, but I'm going to say I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
This is kind of like something along the lines of Guardians of the Galaxy for me, where I know very little about the superhero, but that's the reason I want to see it, because I want to see how they explore this guy,
Okay.
That's why one of the reasons I had so much fun with Guardians of the Galaxy, I could just go in there, without any type of, notion of who these people are, or, what I'm expecting, And with Ant-Man, I have no idea what to expect. Because, again, it's not Hank Pym, the guy who I'm used to. It's some new guy. And I like that they're going with that. Brand new start. Let's see where you go with this.
Uh-huh.
John, any thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, what little I know of it, I can't wait to see what they do with it. I hope I see Pixel. What was the girlfriend?
No, Wasp.
Wasp. I hope they put Wasp in it. They probably not, because it's the first movie.
Well, no. Here's what you have to remember. Wasp in the comics was a mutant. So if they're going to do Wasp, they cannot call her a mutant, because the mutants right now are still owned by 20th Century Fox.
But they're going to do a Civil War movie.
Right.
So if they do Civil War, they will be able to have mutants at one point, because they're going to have mutants. They're going to have Quicksilver.
Right. Well, no, of course, in Avengers 2 coming up, we have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who are usually mutants. However, you have to remember this. Marvel Studios cannot call anything a mutant right now. If they call something a mutant, it's a conflict of interest. Then it violates the copyrights.
All right, they call them meta powers or something.
Meta powers. The belief, and according to Paul, and I kind of agree with this, he thinks they're going to call them Inhumans, which is another property in Marvel. And if they call them Inhumans, it makes sense. So maybe Wasp will come in, and they'll call her an Inhuman, but she's not a mutant. So we'll see what route they go with that. But yeah, I would like for them to introduce that storyline. I think that'd be great. Let me ask you this: who do you think would be a good Wasp?
She gotta be cute with like short dark hair.
Right.
So whoever can pull that off.
I was thinking someone along the lines of like Jamie Chung, or I know some people are like, oh, we want to see Lucy Liu. Well, that's just because that's the only Asian actress you know. But I think Jamie Chung could pull off the part pretty well.
Yeah, you're totally way off than what I was thinking.
Well, what were you thinking?
I was thinking of the chick from Along Came a Spider, that whole Morgan Freeman movie.
Oh, I remember that. I forget that actress's name though.
But she's super old now.
Yeah.
Ashley Judd?
What was that Ashley Judd?
I think so. I mean, she was in Ghost World, or no, what was the one with the ghosts and they was holding the pottery?
Oh, the movie Ghost?
Yeah, Ghost.
Demi Moore?
Yeah, Demi Moore. Like that hair, because she had the hair and everything. So that
okay, you know what? I could see why you'd see that from the movie Ghost because of the way that she looked. Yeah, she looked like Wasp in that. Yeah, but I mean, no, Demi Moore. No, I don't think she would be a good Wasp at all.
That's your male patriarchy.
Yeah. Male patriarchy. Right.
I really don't know. I don't know. Whoever they pick, I hope they're good. I don't really know actress's name or actor's name, so I trust whoever they pick.
Right.
I even trust whoever you pick if you had a picture.
Well, as far as this movie goes, Kim, do you have any thoughts? I mean, just from the trailer, what do you think? Not knowing anything really about Ant-Man, what do you think?
I don't know. It's
didn't really give you enough?
No, it didn't give too much.
Did Guardian give you enough when you first saw it?
What?
The trailer.
Oh,
well, I would say Guardians did, just because they actually give a little intro for each character.
Yeah.
In the trailer?
Yeah.
For Guardians,
when
yeah,
they
they
have
did.
them like walk by in their when they're taking like their pictures and stuff
For the jail cell, yeah. They actually explain. They give a little synopsis of each character. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really. You say that about Ant-Man in this. You know, they say become the Ant-Man, but you know what the fuck is Ant-Man? You know, if you've never seen Ant-Man before, you don't know what the hell he is besides getting small and riding a flying ant. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if it is like a heist movie, as you called it, I guess it would make sense to be able to get really small and do stuff, but I don't know. As not knowing anything about the comic or anything that he does in the comic, I don't know what the point of being able to get really small would be, aside from moving around without being noticed.
Well, to bring this back to DC, to compare it to someone like the Atom, who is basically DC's versions of Ant-Man.
I still don't know who he is either.
It doesn't matter. But the Atom is kind of the same thing, where it's a guy who has a suit who can get really, really small. And what the Atom can do is when he gets that small, he can actually get into someone's mind and kill them from the inside. Basically, like, causes them, like, to rupture their brain from the inside.
Okay.
Really fucked up way to go, but he could do it. And that's what the advantage of being that small is. In fact, I think in the Ultimates, Wasp actually does that to Thor. Because Thor is, like, trying to rebel against the Avengers, or the Ultimates, I should say, in that timeline. And she, like, gets into his head and just starts fucking with him.
Okay.
And so that's the advantage of being that small.
Okay.
So, I don't think they're going to do something like that in this. That'd be really messed up. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, I know very little about this property, but let's say this. So far, Marvel has been doing a lot with its movies. I mean, with Captain America Winter Soldier, we had espionage. With Guardians of the Galaxy, we had space opera comedy. With Ant-Man, we might have a heist movie. So the Marvel franchise is like branching out to a bunch of different genres within their own universe.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. But they're giving a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah. It's not guaranteed that they're all going to be good, but...
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not... Like, I feel like... I think John said it, like, just like last month, they were like, oh, so-and-so is going to be in Ant-Man. And I'm like, oh, and now it's done? I didn't... it seemed very quick. I didn't realize that it was so close to being released. I mean, I always said July or something, but...
Right. July 17th or 18th,
that's a couple
like
of months
that.
away, but still, it's... I don't know. I'm not...
keen on it.
Yeah, sure.
That's all right. I'm looking forward to it. You, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's Marvel, so I'm looking forward to it.
Anything Marvel.
Hopefully, this doesn't become the combo breaker and mess up the movie for us.
Right. Well, I mean, first we're going to see Avengers 2, but after that we're going to get Ant-Man, and then Phase 3 will start up, which I really think Ant-Man should be the start of Phase 3, but that's just me. But, you know, we'll see what happens. So getting off from our trailers and into our feature presentations, we have a few out the next few weeks. And the first one being Black Hat. Now, we actually didn't talk about this one on Threading and Dreading. We just never got around to actually talking about this trailer, odd enough, but we've only really seen it over the last couple weeks. This is Chris Hemsworth and, oh God, I forget the other female's name in this.
Chris?
Patriarchy.
No, sorry, the female, not the other female.
Chris Hemsworth is not a female.
Just the female, sorry. But this is about hacker terrorism, which is, of course, a big hot topic right now. Them going out and blowing up nuclear power plants and, you know.
My thing is, it felt like somebody saw what's his name? Didn't Captain Kirk make a movie about hacking and everything that nobody saw? With
no. That was Chris Pine and oh no, wait. Oh, you're talking about last year.
Yeah, it was Captain Kirk and somebody else.
No, that wasn't Chris Pine. I think that was another Hemsworth. I think that was Liam Hemsworth and Gary Oldman and Harrison Ford. I forget what that movie was called.
It was something, but it was on the same thing.
All right.
So now you got
that one was more along the lines of some sort of advanced technology that someone had invented, and then one of the other firms was trying to buy it from the other, and they was playing both sides.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then they were trying to like blackmail his dad or some shit. I don't know what was going on with that, but I forget what that was called. But no, this is more along the lines of hackers and hacktivism and stuff like that. Yeah, you never heard of that term?
Hacktivism?
Hacktivism. Yeah.
No, I've never
That's
heard
something
of
that Anonymous likes to do. Where, if someone is being a bunch of assholes, like Westboro Baptist Church, they'll go in and hack all their servers and kind of bring down their stuff for a while.
It's called hacktivism.
Hacktivism.
Okay.
Like it was a lady in England who threw a cat in the trash can, and they were able to hack around to find out where the lady lived and who did it.
Right. Stuff like that. Which you can't really justify, but they're screwing with the evil bastards, so you appreciate it, but at the same time they're doing it through illegal means.
Right.
So what are you gonna do? But in this, that there's no type of gray area with this. These people are evil in this movie, so they get some other hacker, which is Chris Hemsworth, and to get him to come in and work with the government, and we're gonna commute your sentence if you help us. And so it's like,
which they do all the time in the real life.
Right. So it's what is it? It's like Fast and Furious 2, where they're gonna forgive his sentence if he works with them. Except now it's instead of fast cars, it's computers.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel a whole lot going for this movie, and I like Chris Hemsworth, but I don't know. Yes, hacking is a hot topic right now, but hackers don't have a face. They sit at home and hack. In this, we see like action scenes with shit getting blown up.
Yeah.
People with guns. I'm like, hacking doesn't work like this. It doesn't. When you break into a hacker's house, he's literally just sitting there on his computer and pretty much surrenders immediately. Because hackers have no way of defending themselves.
They have their whole house booby-trapped. Don't you know that?
Yeah. But I don't know. This just seems extremely generic.
Probably, which is why it's coming out this week.
Right. In the middle of January. Right. I don't know if they're trying to bank off of Hemsworth's star power right now. A lot of people know him. I don't know if he's going to be able to bring in a crowd or not, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't seen too much about this, so it doesn't seem like they're really trying too hard to get it out to people. So I think that kind of speaks for itself.
That too. Yeah. John, any thoughts?
I don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit about that one?
No.
All right, moving on to our next one, which is Paddington. Now, we did discuss this one.
Jesus Christ, not the
Well, here's the thing. This was actually due out 3 weeks ago. It was due out on Christmas originally. A lot of the posters say Christmas. But they delayed it for a couple of reasons. Apparently, the main one was that they already had 4 or 5 different movies being released on Christmas Day, so Paddington just thought it couldn't, keep up with that market. It thought it would just get, knocked down to 5 or 6 immediately.
Right.
So they pushed it back a few weeks, and I don't know what to say about this.
The latest TV commercial trailer that I saw for it totally revealed something that I had no idea was even a part of this movie. Or that Nicole Kidman was even in this movie until I saw this. It's like this whole thing about, we have to catch this bear. Oh, she's like Cruella de Vil or something.
Right, she's basically
of taxidermy, and she wants to kill this bear.
Right, I'm like, wait a minute. You want to kill Paddington? What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
What?
That was like so out of nowhere.
Now, I remember when we discussed this movie, I thought we had said that Nicole Kidman was in it, but she hadn't been revealed in any of the previews.
Yeah, right.
And only recently have we actually seen her in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very weird plot device.
Yeah.
Very weird for an antagonist. In 101 Dalmatians, it works because, she's an evil person and she just
Right.
wants their skin.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is this woman? And why the hell is she obsessed with taxidermy? And why does she have to fucking kill Paddington?
I know.
Of all the damn bears, why do you kill the one that talks?
Once you kill him, he's not going to talk anymore.
Right.
So that kind of defeats the purpose.
He's not a Teddy Ruxpin, okay? He's not going to keep fucking talking.
I don't know if she want to make a coat out of it. I mean, there was a lady a week ago that was in Waco, Texas, who was stealing cats from the neighborhood, making mink coats out of them.
Oh God!
She was doing it for like 10 years.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Okay.
She just got caught, so they just put her in jail for like 18 months.
Okay, well, John, number one, it's Waco.
Texas.
Number two, I mean, you should know, Corey's mom is in Waco. We should know.
Right.
Lord, I apologize. Sorry, Corey. But number two, I mean, that's just some crazy cat lady shit. You know? It's like
that doesn't translate to killing the bears.
No, like if that's what the ultimate goal is of the cat lady, you know, when they turn to taxidermy and they start stuffing fucking bears. Holy shit, what the hell is going on in fucking England?
Oh God.
I mean, it's a very weird plot device, and I'm not really, I don't know if I'm interested in this. I mean, I liked the idea of them making this into a movie. I kind of hoped Paddington would just be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand that Paddington can talk, but I was just hoping he wouldn't talk as much.
Right.
You know, he's just more of a quiet bear and just more stuff in action.
Observing things.
Right.
And that's what I thought. It was more like
Wall-E.
you know.
I would think more like Wall-E, you know, like not sometimes talking, but much more observant and, you know, more in his actions and his facial cues than, you know, letting his, you know, voice do, you know, the performance for him. I'm sorry, continue.
I meant like as far as like the storyline, like if it was more of like a Curious George type thing or something like that, where, you know, it's trying to figure out this new world and how to live in it, and, you know, silly things happen, and then he becomes like sad. He's like, oh, should I leave, or something like that, instead of someone hunting him down.
Right.
I don't know. It just I don't like it. It's weird.
I mean,
it's my word of the night. Weird.
Weird. And John, any thoughts?
It does look weird.
Yeah.
It does look strange.
Right.
So.
And now they keep bringing up in the teasers that this is from the producers of Harry Potter.
Would you stop calling everything a teaser?
I'm sorry.
You've been doing it all night.
I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm sorry. In the TV spots and in the trailer, they keep bringing up that this is from the producers of Harry Potter. That doesn't really mean a whole lot. It just means that some of the guys who helped, you know, market and fund Harry Potter are a part of this.
I'll say there's 8 Harry Potter movies.
Right, right. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. Well, they're also British. Whoop-de-damn-do. You know, just because you're a part of Harry Potter doesn't mean anything about this. Whatever. I don't know. Getting into our final feature presentation of the night, which is The Wedding Ringer.
Oh, God. Talk about weird.
Oh, man.
The what?
The Wedding Ringer.
Oh, my.
You know, the Kevin Hart movie coming out soon.
Oh, Kevin Hart. I try to defend you. You just make me not want to defend you.
I know. Let me tell you, this, I think, is like the ultimate definition of a January movie. This right here.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Right, and the whole premise of the movie is, 1 in every 3 guys doesn't have a friend close enough that they could call in for a best man. What the fuck? No!
But not even just that. The whole fact is like, oh, I need you to help me impress her and impress her family.
Right.
If you're marrying this person, shouldn't you already know her?
Right.
At least
and know her family, right.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so stupid.
No magical Negro ever gonna help you. Gonna get the parents to love you anymore.
That would be a better name for this movie, The Magical Negro.
Right.
I would watch that.
If anything, it's like the parents would be more upset because, like, are you DPing my daughter with this black man?
Oh God. It's like the whole idea. He's making up this persona for the guy, and it's like, oh, you're a priest in the military. What the actual fuck? Why would you come up with that of all things? And then of course he has to, like, does this guy have no friends? Because he has to bring like a whole entourage of guys to this wedding. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen that part.
It's not just him. He brings in like 3 or 4 other guys to be part of his entourage and like doing the Dougie dance in the middle of the party and shit. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it also gave me like hints of Hitch. Do you remember Hitch?
Yeah.
Like, did you think about like when he's teaching the white guy to dance and how to act around the girl
right,
and stuff like that? It's like very Hitch-like.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
if you gotta teach, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, like I have to teach this white boy how to, be a good person, and how to get the sexy girl. It's like he's getting married. He's already sealed the deal. Like, what the fuck? He doesn't have to teach him anything. Obviously, the girl loves him. What the fuck is this?
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm like, you're getting married. Like, if you need to still try to convince her to like you at that point, then I don't know if this must be a mail order bride situation. Or...
Right. And it's trying to convince the family, but did you know her for 3 months before you got married? What the fuck is going on here?
Maybe he's on that new TLC channel called
90 Day Fiance. Yeah, that's what this is. This is 90 Day Fiance, and he doesn't have any friends, and so he has to hire someone to be his best man.
Makes sense.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. This is why I fucking hate January. This kind of movie right here. Because we get this kind of bullshit that comes out. And it is going to be awful. This is going to be some garbage. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I got a headache from this damn movie now.
Thank you for bringing me on this show.
You are so welcome, John.
I mean, you reward all your other bastards who get sick on you and not show up. Good shows, and then you bring me on for this crap. So thank you.
You had Ant-Man. Ant-Man was good.
And then sorry, Kim. I mean, sorry about all this patriarchy talk that he have done to you, especially with the whole Jennifer Lopez movie and everything.
Thank you for
apologizing.
Go see it.
Wow. Well, I want to thank the Goddess of Gore for coming by.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Chicago John for stopping in. I really do appreciate you coming in, bud.
Yay.
Do you want to throw out any plugs for your channels or anything?
Definitely do not.
Do not? Fuck those guys.
All of them.
All right.
You can find me on Facebook, but that's about it. That's all you need to know.
Well, I want to thank you again for showing up, and I once again am the Projectionist. Have a very good night, everyone. Stay healthy and take care.
Bye.
Peace.